Welcome to Liquidation Motivation Live. We are in our second episode here, and we have a special guest today. We have Daniel from Raloz WholeSale, and Tom's going to interview him. But just to let you know, please leave any questions or comments in the comments section from either YouTube or Facebook, and we'll get to each of those questions at the end of the conversation. Um, if we need to jump into the questions and comments, we'll do that whenever. But Tom will lead the way. Introducing Thomas Schultz right now, and I'm going to have Thomas introduce Daniel for you.
What's happening, Esteban, man? Good to be back, man. Week number 2 of our lives again. We used to do these lives all the time, man. It was a lot of fun. So we're starting to we find we get a lot of questions from the community through text message, through emails, through a YouTube channel. It's just so much easier to grab people and put them on here live and be able to answer their questions. But today we got a special guest, man. We used to call like Damien and Colton the young guns of the industry, right? The young. Yeah. But now I got a new young gun to add into there. This is my man, Daniel Lozano. And my man, Daniel, is out of Texas. And I'm just super impressed. It started off, I think, with a text message from Daniel. And like, hey, can I call you? I want to get into the business. And now it's rocking and rolling and 100x, the liquidation business. And at such a young age. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is Daniel Lozano. Welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you guys for having me. I'm very excited.
This is awesome. When did we first start talking, Daniel? It's well over a year now, right?
I think it's about a year now. About a year. I've been watching your videos. I've been seeing everything, your posts on social media, and before that I've been saving money, and I was like, what the heck? I'm gonna buy a truckload. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna rent out a space. And I did, and I showed you a video, and then you told me, hey, that's so awesome. Can I put that on my video? And then you added that little clip with me. You put it on one video, and then after that, we just started texting, and I phone called you, and yeah, that's how it started.
That's awesome. Yeah, we were talking about, we were kind of hitting that saving a little earlier, and my point was, like, there's some people that don't save anything. And I was one of those people. Like, I didn't save a penny until I was 45 years old. And, I had a little bit of cash flow, but savings, I had zero, man, zero. And how important is it to teach your children to save early, save often? I'm kind of forced my kids to save. I put half the money they ever made in their life into a bank account, and then I make them invest in crypto. Anybody watching my channel know I'm a crypto guy. And now they got lots of money. They got more money at 14 than I had at 45. And it's incredible. And you're one of those kids. It's like my brother has 3 kids, and one of them saves all of his money. The other 2 just blow it all. And it's, how important is it? So if you wanted to save that money, man, we wouldn't be talking right now. We wouldn't have this opportunity. You would have had to go through the hustle of just, nickel and dime and everything. And so I think that's, that's a huge message to everybody. Save. If you make $100, put 50 away. Spend the other 50. That $100 is profit. Keep your money, keep your bills low, man. Especially when you're young. I was the stupid ass who went out and got that car payment. Right when I could have credit, I went and bought a Saab. I bought a Saab 900 Turbo, man. I thought I was a badass, but I was broke. Man, I was broke. So, man, you started off right, Daniel. So tell me, you saw my videos, you got in the liquidation business, and then you did what? Tell me about your journey.
Yes, I just want to quickly add on to what you were saying about saving. I've been saving literally since I was in middle school, since I was in high school. I was saving all my money. All my friends would get mad at me, be like, hey, why don't you want to go out with us? Hey, why don't you want to get a steak or whatever? I'm like, no, because I have to save. And because I did that, is that I was able to afford getting a space for a warehouse, is because I was able to afford to get a forklift. I mean, not a forklift, a truckload, a pallet jack. It was because of that I was able to do that. And now that I've been able to flip one load and another load and another load and another load, and that's how I've been going. But yeah, saving is extremely, extremely important.
Yeah, you kind of molded my message to my base about people who are underfunded to get into this business. And now my message to people is, if you got no money and you want to be in liquidation, go rent a 2,000. Just it's your story.
That's how I did it. That's literally how I did it.
Get a small warehouse, get one truckload, make $100 a pallet, and do that once a week. You know, that'll make $2,400 a week, $10,000 a month. Your rent's $2,000. Boom, you're making $8,000 a month. That's $96,000 a year. And if you got low bills, you can put most of that money away. And I promise you, my message is based on you. You went from there to buying more truckloads, to adding 2-3 loads in your warehouse, right? And his market. We'll tell the rest of the story here in a second. But tell them about your marketing, man, because you send me some of your videos, and I'm like, this guy is incredible, man. Everybody needs to go to. So you do it on what channels are you marketing on?
So we're doing Facebook, we're doing Instagram, and we're doing TikTok. Yeah. Those are the 3 main ones. I honestly was so surprised, but out of all of them, the most powerful one by far has to be TikTok. It is insane the amount of people that come in and say, hey, I saw your TikTok. Hey, I saw your TikTok. That they come in the warehouse. And because I made that TikTok, they came in the warehouse. You know, but yeah, for marketing, you're asking about marketing. I think you need to be different than everyone else. A lot of the marketing that I see is simply just a camera taking pictures or showing like a quick little video with some little music in the background, which is nice. But I feel like you need to go a step above in order to be recognized, or in order for people to like turn the head towards you. And that's exactly what I did. You know, I try to be hyper. I try to be like, hey guys, how's it going? Like, I want you guys to make money, and I want everyone to grow. You know, just be like hype and just be genuine, being honest with the people. I think that's the most important thing. And I think my videos are also good because I'm able to speak English and Spanish. So I'm able to hit 2 big audiences at the same time.
Yeah. And then he does crazy things. Everybody's got to go to his channel. And he like rides around on a hoverboard, and you know, and the videos are just fun to watch. And guys, how many people I hate like watching a car commercial where the guy's like, come to my Ford store. My Ford store is the best store. We have, you know, those stupid ass videos. They spend millions of dollars a year advertising these car dealerships, and they're boring as shit. You know, you got to have some excitement in your videos, some fun, and you definitely are hitting it on the head. And the Spanish part, I mean, you're in Texas, so you probably have a huge Spanish. You definitely have a huge Spanish population. I mean, here in Florida too, we do too. You know, where I lived in New York, there was none, but
not so much.
Not so much. But yeah, that's so smart, man, and then they're so exciting. So
what I noticed is that also the first 5 seconds, literally the first 5 seconds of marketing are the most important 5 seconds, because it's those 5 seconds determine whether the person's going to keep watching whatever ad you're posting or they're going to scroll. So those 5 seconds, you have to focus on extreme hype. Hey, how's it going, guys? And then your background needs to be good, etc. You know, I just want to add that.
Hey, can I share one of the videos?
Sure. Let's do it, man. Is this the hoverboard video?
Yeah, it is.
I love the hoverboard video.
I still need to, you know, work on the audio on my videos. I know Esteban has been telling me that.
Come on, you don't look at, man. In your palettes, look at this. Might be the best while Esteban's bringing it up. Oh, there he goes. Wait.
That's one of them, yeah.
I can't hear it.
Okay.
I can't hear it either.
I'm the only one that can hear it. That sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so anyways,
they get the point.
They can see how excited he is, how fun it is, riding a hoverboard around. That was a deal you and I worked together there on those hoverboards, right?
Yeah.
That ended up being a great deal for you, which is fantastic. Yeah. I know you bought a few more since then.
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, you know, your marketing is incredible. It's on spot. But this is what I wanted to show you. These, I mean, you can go out there and buy the expensive microphones, which I did when we started. But look at these little microphones here. These are just super little magnetic microphones that you can attach to your shirt like this. You don't have to, when you clip on microphones, you get a lot of drag. And then you have the receiver on your phone, which is right here. These things are $100. 2 microphones with the receiver, and it comes with like a necklace and everything. Guys, so super important to get your audio right, because there's videos that I watch. The minute I hear like a heavy accent or the audio's bad, I'm out. I'm not going through with it, right? So yeah, these are super cheap. Esteban, you got another set there? Yeah. I'm surprised how well these inexpensive microphones, and the best thing is we get them in our freaking pallets all the damn time. So you just pull them out of the pallet.
Store right here.
I don't want to say I cherry pick the pallets, but if I see a microphone that I can use, I'm taking it. You know.
Yeah.
I actually did have a microphone, but it broke on me, and it was a good microphone. It was a DJI Mini. But I was on the forklift because at the time I didn't have any employees, so I was literally doing everything. So I was in the forklift, and then I crashed a little bit, and I broke the mic. It fell.
Let me see. Somebody's asking me what brand this is. MAONO. But I'm,
I've seen that one.
Yeah. Let me see. Let me see if I can show you. So this is the little. So here's the magnet, right? They give you this little magnet and the microphone, so you can just put the magnet underneath, and then the microphone here. Oops, I gotta flip the magnet over. Hang on, I'm gonna lose it down my shirt. Oh, I got it backwards. So you can see I just clips together, and it'll stay in your shirt. So if we wanted to put a second microphone on here, we could. But anyways, all right, back onto the story, man. Back onto the story. Okay, what truckload did you start off with when you first started selling?
I started with an Amazon monster truckload, like the monster mediums. The monster mediums, okay. Yeah. That's the truckload I started with. I thought it was one of the more like popular loads and one of the loads that people like to buy by the pallet, which it was. It wasn't a great load. It was a decent load, I think. I definitely got a few complaints from that load. But mostly everything was good. Mostly everything was good out of that load.
Yeah. I mean, I think no matter what you're selling or who you're selling to, you're going to get some complaints. Because some people should not be in this business, right? They think they're going to buy a pallet and it's going to be gold. You know, and it's not. Yeah. They're not all gold. Sometimes you get gold, but they're not all gold. And sometimes you get the worst pallet out of the 24, and you got to hustle to make your money back, or maybe a few $100. But certainly, I'd say most of the people that complain to me think they're going to pull everything off there, and it's all going to go on marketplace and sell great. You know. Yeah, I'll let everybody know we are live in our warehouses. So if you see us get distracted a little bit, it's because we got to find that money. Somebody's got our money. Me and Daniel need to still make money in order to do this business. So we might get interrupted every once in a while. But exactly. Yeah. But okay, so then after that, didn't you go to the Target? You went to Target General Merchandise loads?
Yes, Target has been very, very good for me because mostly everything is brand new. I always tell this to everyone. There's 4 categories. So there's overstock, there's shelf pulls, and there's box damage, which all of those 3 are brand new. And then there's returns. But the amount of returns is very slight that people love them. And the reason I know that people love them and that it's working is because people come back. Whenever I see people come back into my warehouse buying the exact same product, that tells me that this is something that's working and it's something that I need to bring more in. And just having something else that I learned is you have to keep inventory consistently, because I made a few mistakes when I first started about not keeping inventory. You know, I would sell everything and then I would be like a whole week without inventory, and that would kill me because I wouldn't be making anything for a whole week. So you got to be on top of your inventory.
Customers are like, you got it in? Do you got that in yet? Or they're messaging every day. You know, I get it all the time, right? I get it all the time. It's frustrating. I mean, you find the perfect truckload, and maybe your distributor's out, or maybe then you got to go pay more money for it, and your customer's already used to a certain price, and they don't know if you're telling the truth when you say, "Hey, I need 700 a pallet now instead of 600." They're like, "That lion, he's raising his prices on me." But yeah. So so you're bringing it. So you're bringing in the monster loads, the medium monster loads, and then
I'm still bringing those in, and the Target ones. Yeah, and I always tell everyone the main difference between the Amazon mediums and the Target ones is that the Amazon mediums There are 100% returns. You know, they're going to be returns, but in those is where you can find the home run pallets. And those you can open a box and it could be a laptop worth $2,000, or you can. I actually had this happen. Someone opened the box and there was like 8 golf clubs, and those each golf club was retailing for like $800. And they called me almost in the middle of the night, being like, "Daniel, give me another one, give me another one." And I told them not all of them have have great items like that, but that guy, he made a few $1,000.
That's nice.
He made a few thousand from that pallet. He was very happy. Yeah, but not all of them are like that. So it's definitely more of a risk when you're buying Amazon returns. That's what I tell everyone. If you do it long enough, you're always going to profit. If you know how to do it, you do it long enough, you're always going to profit. And then Target is very consistent. It is extremely consistent. So it's very rare that you lose money, but you're never gonna make like thousands of dollars from a Target pallet. It's gonna be slow profit, but very consistent. That's the difference.
Target's probably the one that I get most requested that I don't have here. You know, I carry Amazon FC, Amazon Mediums. I'm getting e-scrap loads. I'm getting all these different loads, and everybody comes in, "Hey, do you have any Target?" You know, but for some reason, I haven't found a good enough price and supplier near to me. But you know, I definitely know I got to bring Target in. So, all right. So next, you start buying truckloads. You start selling off the pallets. What's your next move? What's the evolution of you in the liquidation business from there?
Okay, so that's what I've been doing. I've just been selling by the pallet, by the pallet, by the pallet. At this point, I have some customers that started buying by the pallet that are now doing well, and they're requesting me half truckloads. So I've been supplying these half truckloads to clients that initially started with one pallet. And not only that, but I'm also brokering truckloads. So I'm also selling truckloads. And right now, the next step that we're adding on is going to be a bin store. So I'm very excited for that.
You're getting into the bin store business, huh?
We're getting into the bin store business, yeah. Yeah, it's a little scary, I'm not going to lie, because the initial investment is very high. It's a high investment, but we're just excited. It's going to be fun.
That's awesome. So tell us about your bin store. How many bins you going to do?
So we're not going to start extremely massive. We're going to run about 40 bins. It's going to be 40 bins. Yeah. I know there's bin stores with like 100 plus bins. We're not there just yet, but we're going to start about 40 bins, and we're planning on doing Amazon LPN and Amazon FC. We're probably going to lean more towards the FC side a little bit, maybe like 70-30 or maybe 50-50. Reason being is because everyone here in my city that owns a bin store, they all start at $8, which scares me a little bit because it's low, you know. But I know if it's mostly FC, I know it works out. And I've been to every single bin store in my city. I've been to all of them. And I've been on opening day and on I've done the research. They are all running mostly FC. So I think that's the strategy
what is your pricing strategy going to be? Mixing the LPN in?
So we still don't have that yet, but we're most likely going to mimic what everyone else is doing and start at $8. $8 all the way down to $1.
Even with LPN in there, huh?
Even with LPN, that's the only reason why we're planning on not adding too much LPN, because I know that if I add a lot of LPN, there's just not going to be enough profit margin. And we're also, I know you're totally against this, but we're also thinking about adding a small retail section. And I know you're probably going to hate me for saying that, but I mean, we're still thinking about that. Right now, we're looking to open in 2 to 3 weeks. And I mean, all of these decisions are going to be made by the end of this week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to make it clear. I'm not against anything. Okay. What my message is that, you know, like for example, in Georgia, our bin store in Georgia, the largest bin store in Georgia, we have 150 bins there. We mix probably 30% LPN, 70% FC. And we do 12, 10, 7, 5, 3, 1, 50 cents. And we just find that the profit on that load is incredible. And it seems like people add all these add-ons to it. We're doing some stupid add-ons there, but you get in this mind frame where it's like, hey, if I add this on, I can make more money. Or if I add this on, I can make more money. But my point is, like, it's so easy to run a bin store. And my goal is to run multiple bin stores. So I want to make sure that my core business is just super easy to run. So when I exit and go to store number 2, they don't got shit to do. And I'm not worried about people stealing, laptops or anything like that. It's just throw everything in the bins, get rid of it, make my money. I mean, if you're making 10 grand a week profit, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money on an annual basis. And if you can do that 2 or 3 times, if you have this network and this supply, remember the supply is the most important thing. You got that set up. Stop, stop doing all this extra shit. Now you need extra people to do that. I don't know. That's where my message comes from for the growth perspective. If you're running one store, do every day, do pallet sales, do retail, do this, do that. Who cares? But I think when you want to run, if you can magically, recreate the same store at another location and make the same amount of money twice, I'd rather be doing that than worrying about everything else. So that's kind of my message, Daniel. So I'm not against what you're doing, buddy, but I put out the information, and you take everything you can from it, and run it the way you want. Because I'm not. I mean, the truth is, I don't freaking know everything. I just think what works, what I've seen work, and I'm we ask people to, or we just suggest people follow that path. So yeah, no, I mean I think it's good. I got a bin store here in this mall where I'm at, and we only run FC, and we start on $12 a day. But, our busiest day, but there's no other bin stores in our area. And our busiest day is like $5 a day. $5 a day, we get hundreds and hundreds, $3 a day, hundreds, $1 a day, hundreds, 50 cents a day. I mean, you can't even move in those lower value days. But it's not a super busy store. It's only got 26 bins. It does about 15 to 16,000 a week. And my cost is about 10,000 a week. So the math is mathing on it, the math. And I do have a little retail part in there because we put tools in there because I got all these tools in this warehouse. So, yeah.
I do have a question for you, Tom.
Yeah.
You mentioned about expanding and opening other bin stores. How would you find the right people that you can trust to handle running a bin store? Not only one, but like multiple. How do you manage to do that?
Yeah. I mean, I think it definitely is a challenge. It's probably been one of the most challenging parts of my business. For some reason, I don't have any problem hiring people. I get lots of people and people don't quit. They never leave me. I mean, maybe somebody who I just hired a month ago might leave me, but man, it seems like all my employees stay around for years. And I'm like, go get another job. Go make more money somewhere else, man. I know you're, but they just don't seem to want to leave. See?
No, not yet. Not yet.
He never leaves me.
I'm not going to leave.
Me and Esteban have been like in 40 businesses together. We're like, all right, that failed. What are we going to do now? All right, that failed. What are we going to do now? So now we're just on this journey, on this path. But yeah, right now I'm building bins for a 150 bin store. I'm looking for a 50,000 square foot location to do it in. Plus, I'm looking for a former Halloween City or whatever they call that place. And trying to see if I can get one of those locations on a month-to-month lease. And I have some partners that want to partner with me. So they're going to run 100% of the operations. I'm going to do the behind the scenes with the loads. It's kind of like what I do in Georgia. I just help out with the loads. My partner Stellian, who was fantastic, he runs the operations up there. Not that he doesn't call me 50 times a day, but it works out well for us. We both try to get the load. So yeah, I'm looking at a couple partnerships. I'm looking at a couple family members that might be able to run some stores for me. Although, I'm not sure if that's always going to work out, but I did shut down one of my bin stores because I thought that the numbers weren't mathing. And so I shut it down. Another one I shut down because I lost my, I had a supply for like 10 years straight and I lost it. And then I had to do the scramble. When you're doing the scramble, it sucks. But now I'm pretty consistent in the loads that I'm getting, so I know I can open more stores. But yeah, trust is hard, man. Trust is hard. But I mean, you're a young guy. You can work 7 days a week. I mean, I probably stopped working 7 days a week when I was 50. Now I work 5 days a week, but on the weekends I'm like shopping for toys for my museum. But so maybe I do work 7, but you could bounce back and forth. The thing is, like, you really don't need to be at those stores in the lower value days, and it's $5, $7, $3. It seems, obviously sales are lower. Definitely on the $1 day and on your opening day. I mean, when you're getting 300, 400 people and you're bringing in $15,000, $20,000 in one day, I probably want to be a little bit, more tighter on the money. But there's a lot of steps you can put in place. Like the store we bought in Georgia has a 60 camera system, 60 unit camera system. Yeah. And you know what we do? We pay somebody in Venezuela $100 a week, and you can talk crap about me if you want, but they think that's good money, and they watch that camera system 24 every minute that we're open, 7 days a week. They watch that system, and we're in a WhatsApp group. So if they'll clip a video if somebody's stealing, send it to our group. Every employee and every manager knows about it. And boom, we go over there and confront the person, tell them to get out. And they're watching the employees.
Gosh.
So
has that happened often? Has that happened often where
all day long?
Oh my
all day long. You got to see where my store is in Georgia. It's not in the best neighborhood. It's actually probably in the worst neighborhood, but it kills it. And the rent's cheap. It doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter where you're at. I mean, it does matter where you're at. Don't get me wrong. If you're in a better location, you're going to do better. But you don't have to be in a great location in order to do well with a bin store. But we do a ton of marketing like you, and we just keep pumping it out.
That's interesting. And how do you reduce people stealing? How do you eliminate that? I know there's no way to eliminate it, but I'm sure there's ways to reduce it.
I mean, you're just proactive about it. You make sure people know you're around and you're watching them. I mean, it's just the standard steps in the retail industry. If you're paying attention to your customers, they know that they're not that you're watching them like a hawk, but they know you're right there in front of them. How many employees you got, that are, if you got 3 employees standing behind the counter, 2 employees need to be out on the floor cleaning out bins, which they're always doing, and they're keeping an eye on the customers, and and signage, letting them know that there's camera systems there. But I mean, they can just look around and see all 60 cameras pointing down on them, and so I don't know.
You have those signs that say smile, you're on camera. Do you have those?
Yeah. Or free ride to jail if you're caught shoplifting, stuff like that. Just goofy signs like that just let people know. I don't know what the right deterrent is. I think customer service is the best deterrent. And but I accept there's going to be some theft. All I give a shit about is dumping stuff in the bins and selling $10,000 a week more than what it costs me. That's what I care about. I'll accept some theft. I'll be proactive about it, but I'll accept the theft. My problem with some people is they're obsessed with theft. They're obsessed with it to where they drive customers out of their business because they think everybody's stealing. And those people, I think, are taking the wrong approach to it. Just talk to everybody. Hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Got any good deals? Keep shooting videos during the day. Nobody who's stealing wants to be caught on camera. So I don't know.
I like how you keep it simple. I feel like a lot of people overcomplicate things, like you just said, obsessing over theft, obsessing over this, over that. But I mean, you're right. At the end of the day, all you want to do is just throw items in the bins, make profit, and then just repeat.
That's right. That's right. And if 10% goes to theft, I mean, I'm not going to say who cares, but you're still making 10 grand a week. And I don't know about you, but I want to make 10 grand a week as many times as I can. If I can do that 5 or 6 or 10 times, that would be incredible. I mean, I know for a fact there's a bin store out there, and I'm not going to say it, is making $25,000 a week profit. That's life-changing money there,
That's
man.
Insane. That's crazy.
Life-changing money. But you got to put a lot of damn product in those bins. You got to put a lot of damn product in those bins in order to get to that level. You're putting 3-4 loads out a week, mixing LPN and FC. And then you're charging full $12 a week or whatever. Some people start at 14. We just find that $12 works great for us, gives us our profit margin every week, and then we can move on. And we're looking to build a big one in Atlanta. I'm looking to build a big one in Orlando. Looking to build a big one in Tampa. Looking to build a big one anywhere that I can find a city and a partner that works out well. Every partner comes with different. Some partners have no money. Some partners have a lot of money but no experience. Some people, so it's like, who's the right partner to get with, and who's the right person to trust, and that's a whole crapshoot. That's a gamble. That's a gamble. So yeah, I don't know. I hope I answered your partnership question a little better. Listen, I've had a lot of shitty partners in my life, but I've had a lot of great partners in my life. I have a whole business up in New York that I don't have to even think about. My partner is incredible up there. Georgia, I don't even think about Georgia. Obviously, this operation I run here in Florida. But so some of them work out great. Some of them work out. I got partners I don't talk to. They're enemies. They used to be my best friend, and now they're my mortal enemy. I mean, just because business goes bad. Business goes bad. Some businesses don't work.
It happens.
That's the bottom line, man. That's the bottom line. And I think, I don't even know what the statistics are saying. Something like, 60% of all businesses fail in the first year. I don't know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. That's what happens. Hopefully, mine hasn't failed.
Well, you seem to be doing well. So let me see here.
Something that I also wanted to ask you real quick is, how do you manage so many stuff? Because I know you have so many, income streams running. How do you manage all that?
Esteban manages all that. Esteban, Esteban's very expensive for me, but it probably might be one of the best things I ever did, because it takes so much off my plate, that having somebody to do all your admin for you, to do all your taxes for you, to do all your, my deal with Esteban is Esteban manages my personal and business affairs. And if it saves me time, then I can focus on everything else. There's some weeks I'm like, man, this sumbitch is overpaid. But then there's other weeks like, man, this guy is working his ass off and he's got a lot of things on his plate. But the thing is, it frees up me in my life to where, I can do the things that I'm good at. I'm not, Esteban's doing, does my P&Ls, my taxes, my sales taxes, my contract negotiations, my, any sort of reportings, any filings that we got to do with governments, which is a million of them if you're in business. I swear to God, I get into business and I find out, oh, you never filed this. I'm like, what the hell is that? You never filed this? What the hell is that? It happens every day, it seems like. Then the fire inspectors come in and you got 50 more things to do. And then, then the tax department's here and your income tax has got to be taken care of. And, it's just for me, it was so much easier to have somebody to handle all of that, all that work. And, I think somebody, once you get to a certain level, you can, I am back on a focus level. My message a while ago was like, open up as many businesses as you can. That's why I had the bowling alley, the Chinese restaurant, the bin stores and all that. But I've since changed my mind and said, no, I want to focus on liquidation and expand that as much as I can. And then eventually build my museum. But so we sold the bowling alley off. We sold the Chinese restaurant off. So that cut Esteban's workload like in half, So now I'm like brainstorming, like I got to give this son of a bitch more work to do,
Now we still have a lot of work to do. The perfect example what you just said. While you're doing this right here, I'm turning off so this way I can answer Mike at the warehouse, because I designed a door signage. He's got to go to the bowling alley, pick it up, and install it on the doors. Then I have Whitney over in your high bid that has questions about communication that's going through. So, yeah, it takes it off your plate so you can handle the higher level stuff.
Yeah, I'm not, and what I want to do, when I had the world's largest liquidation store, I focused on the buying in the back room and, making sure we had the right inventory. But what I didn't focus on was customer service. And I had my employees do that. And so here I'm kind of trying to swap that around. And I think that's what ultimately, there's a million factors what led to the failure of that store, or the closure of that store. And I blame it on them raising the rent to $75,000 a year. But, that's a lot of money to be paying. But the truth is, I think if I would have focused on customer service, I would have, that business would still be around today. And so now when I start the new warehouse a couple of years ago, I'm like, I want to talk to the customers, man. I want to be the guy. I want to be the pitch man. I want to be the one who's, telling them they can make money. If they want to make money, they can make money in this business. And, so I'm focused on that, and Esteban and the rest of the staff can handle all the other tasks, that are there. So, but hey, it is what it is.
Do you believe that you can have people doing as good of a job of customer service than you? Or do you believe that you have to be there in order for your business to be, perfect?
Yes. I think that I have a staff in my warehouse of, I think about 10 people in the warehouse, but then we have 2 people in high bid, maybe 6 people over in whatnot. And then we have the auction staff on the weekends for our live auctions. Of the 10 people, I'd say 6 of them are good salespeople. I don't know if they're as good as me, but they're good sales. I would trust them. I recommend them. And then I have a few that, I don't know, probably shouldn't be talking to people. So I try to avoid them.
The thing is, Daniel, like you're never going to find someone who's going to consider your business their baby. So they're not going to take that extra effort that you would. So as long as you have a team that cares to do their job and takes pride in their personal work, and they get to at least, I don't know, 70, 80% to the skills that you want them to. And remember, it's the task, not the whole business. They shouldn't be in charge of the whole business or even think that they have to be considering the whole business. It's just their task. Are they 80% good at their job? Then you got a really good employee.
Yeah.
That's a good marker, 80%. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, what'll happen is I'll go out there, even though my employee is doing the sale, I'll go out there and talk to them for 2 or 3 minutes, see what they're doing, see how they're selling, right? I ask everybody, how you selling it, right? Because if you don't know how they're selling it, you don't know what load to recommend for them. You don't know what they should buy. They might have one idea, but I might have another idea. And at least I get to know them for a couple minutes, and then my employee can finish off the sales pitch, and finish off the sale, collect the money, bring the money to me. Hopefully they pay cash. Oops, might want to bleep that out, but just kidding. And so they do 90, they do 90% of the sale, but I still want to talk to the people and introduce myself, especially if they're buying multiple pallets, because my goal is to develop and mold that person into a big buyer for me, right? Everybody who walks in my door, I don't care if they buy 1 pallet, I need to mold them into be a big buyer, because the more buyers I have, the more loads I can bring in, and making $100. I just want to sell pallets. If I make $100 a pallet and I can sell, 100 a week, that's $10,000 a week in profit. Profit. So, and that doesn't include bin stores, that doesn't include brokering, that doesn't include anything, So it's all just streams of revenue. But yeah, back to the original question, I've just taken myself away from the open 10 businesses, make $100,000 a year each, and said, okay, we can do that same thing in the liquidation business, something where I have a little influence, and something where I've been doing for a long time, so I know a lot about it. So yeah, so that's why. Yeah. All right. So you're opening a bin store. You're excited about that. And what time? So that's in San Antonio?
Yes, in San Antonio, Texas.
Nice. Okay. And you're haven't figured out your pricing strategy. You got 40 bins, and you're going to mix LPN and FC. I mean, it sounds like a winning strategy. I don't see how that's exactly, as far as the inventory mix, 40 bins probably can do like what? Maybe it takes about a full truck to fill up 40 bins.
I think so. I think we could fill a full truckload. And yeah, I think we're just gonna run a little LPN just, for the excitement, for the videos. Look what you can find, because in the LPN you do find the higher end items. But what would you recommend if you're in my position, Tom? How would you run my store? Or would you completely remove the LPN and would you go full FC?
I would mix. My professional opinion, I would start at $12. I would do, and I don't care what the other stores do. They will find more, they'll find more value in your store. We have a lot of stores around us in Georgia that do the $8, $7. One guy starts at $7. Our store here in Port Richey, Florida, They start at 12 and somebody across the street starts at 6 and they're running LPN. I'm like, what? I mean, I don't even know how they're doing it. They must have some sort of competitive advantage on the inventory, but I don't care. I'm still starting at 12. I'm not picking the bins. I'm filling the bins full, over full with stuff. You know, I'm keeping all the high. Don't get me wrong. If I find a MacBook in there or an iPad, I'm pulling that shit out. But I'm not, you know, I'm not pulling out the $100 vacuum cleaner and the $100, you know, all that stuff needs to be left in the bins because all it's going to do is pile up in your back room, you know, and you know, then you're going to have too much stuff in your back room. You try to put it on eBay. It doesn't sell on eBay because it's Chinese, you know, branded stuff. And it's just not worth it. Leave it in your bin. Leave it in your bin and make the money off it. Start at $12. Another thing that Stellian taught me was to do a 50-cent day. And that 50-cent day, I mean, my sales aren't incredible on 50-cent day. I might do $1,000, but it really cleans your bins out. And then I forget about the inventory left in my bins. I don't care about it. I dump it in a pallet. And that's why I built my bins with the end to come off. So we just sweep it all out into a pallet. And I give those away to anybody who wants them. I don't care who takes them. That's my philosophy on it now, because if you can make 10 grand a week, which you should in a 40 bin store, I just see all this other stuff as noise. I see making mystery boxes as noise. I see, you know, selling off pallets for $100 of leftover stuff noise. I don't care about the 3 pallets of leftover bin stuff, you know, selling them for $100, taking up my time, having people when I'm making $300 a week on that, when you're making 10 grand in the bins. Ignore the noise and focus on the bins, And, you know, that's my recommendation nowadays. Somebody who's a rookie, their first day in the business, I'll recommend that to them and they'll do something totally opposite. But I'm like, all right, go ahead. I don't care that you do something different. I'm giving you my recommendation. But that's what's working for me right now. And all my stores are profitable. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, I appreciate the advice. I'm definitely going to be taking that advice. Right. The only thing that I would be scared about is people being like, oh, why should I go to you if I could just go down the street and it's $8? What would you say to those people?
You got to look in our bins. Our bins are better. They're higher value. We got more expensive stuff in here. You can go down there and pay $8 for something that's worth $20, or you can pay $12 for something that's worth $100. I mean, when we get the right loads, and most weeks we get the right loads, we make the mistake of buying the processed loads once in a while because those sons of bitches lie to us and say, "Oh no, only food was taken out." Bullshit. Food was the only thing taken out. You're pilfering these loads because I dump it out and there's nothing worth more than $30 in these bins. And then when I get the right loads, you dump out, you know, an LPN load, you're getting hundreds and hundreds of items worth over $100, hundreds of items. And that sells on the $12, $10, $7 day. Then come $5 day, that FC kicks in and crushes it. And your $3 day is great, your $1 day is great, and your 50-cent day clears out the bins. That just seems to work for me. So, you know, keep the inventory in your bins. You know.
Do you refill during the week, or do you just refill on opening day?
I don't refill during the week, but I don't, you know, some people have a philosophy of refilling the bins with FC. You know, after, let's say that, you know, on the $7 day. So you do a 10 and 12, then $7 day, combine all your bins. Let's say you got 10 empty bins, refill that with FC, because if you're getting $7 on FC and your average cost is 85 cents, that's not a bad deal, right? You know, so I understand that part. But I wouldn't be refilling with LPN without a doubt. Okay. Not with LPN. So I don't do that, but I understand, because what we do is, as the bins get empty on the $7 day, we're already filling them up for next week because we have 150 bins. So that day we'll fill up 10 bins. The next day we'll fill up 20. So by the time 50-cent day is there, we only have maybe 20, 30 bins that have merchandise in it. And so the rest of the store is taped off and it's all full, ready to go for restock. So then after 50-cent day, we clean out the bins, throw that shit away, fill those bins up. So that way everybody can get it home at a reasonable hour. we shut down at 2:00 on Thursday so we can reload. And normally we're done by 7:00 using that philosophy. If we had to fill all the bins that day, we'd be there till midnight. There's just no easy way to keep filling bins. So all of our bins are on wheels. As they get emptied, we fill them up, push them against the wall, fill them up, push them against the wall, so they're ready for the next restock day. That helps us out,
Okay.
and that's how I've got my my new stores set up. When I do this, 80,000 square foot bin store, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick with that philosophy. So I'm not against the refilling. It's just going to affect your restocking.
Yeah, just keep it simple, like you said. Just keep it simple. Okay.
Yeah,
That's probably the best strategy. And something else that I wanted to ask you was on employees. How many do you recommend? Is there like too much or too little? For example, me that I'm running about 6,000 square footage of bin stores. How many employees would you recommend?
Man, you don't need a lot of employees. I mean, so I had a 10,000 square foot bin store, but the back 4,000 was storage, so it's similar size to yours.
About the same.
And, and we ran it with 4 employees. So what we had is we had 3 registers. So 3 people could run registers. Now, when you open the store, 2 of those people are out on the floor cleaning up bins or helping open boxes and that. Then as the line builds up for 1 register, we bring a second operator up. As the line builds up for 2, we bring a third operator up. So now we got 3 people ringing people out. And then as that line goes down, which every line goes down on your busy days at about noon, that gives them, if you open at 10, that gives them about 2 hours of bulk shopping. Then you put 1 person back out on the floor, second person, but I always have 1 person always on the floor. So 4 people on your busy day, but I swear to God, on your slower days, you only need 2. I mean, especially if it's you and 2 other people, you can be doing your business. Somebody's cleaning the bins all the time. You have to be cleaning bins all the time. And then there has to be a register operator. The register operator can help open boxes if they need to, but I mean, that might be a little light. But that might be a little light, but you don't need a lot of people to run a bin store. And that's why I love it. That's why your margins are high. Your payroll's low. There's some people I know my buddy opened a bin store, a great big bin store, and his payroll was huge, like 25,000 his first week. And he's ended up cutting it back to 15,000. So he shaved 40% off his payroll because he just realized he's had too much people on there. So, I mean, 15,000 to me is still a lot, I mean,
it's a lot.
Yeah. And so then at the end of the week, you're going to need a couple people always filling up the empty bins. Restock day is big. You're going to bring all 4 people back in on restock day, right? Because you're cleaning out the old bins, refilling the rest of them so everybody get out of there at 7:00. So I normally have somebody I normally use a man because if you got a forklift or you need somebody to unload trucks, I have a guy there, and then normally 3 women there on most on the busier days.
Okay, so not all of them are full time. You just pretty much keep them part time. Maybe 1 of them or 2 of them be full time, and then the rest just part time.
I open my bin store 7 days a week, so a lot of them can get pretty good hours whenever they're you add in their 2 days off, and other people are working, so most of them can get pretty good time in there. I mean, so yeah, but there are a few people that only want to work 1 day. We're like, good, you can work Friday, which is our busiest day, or you can work Thursday, which is our restock day. We don't need it. We don't need extra help on the other days, but those 2 days are good to have somebody who just wants a few hours.
I see. And then also when you mentioned there always needs to be someone cleaning bins at all times. Someone has to be cleaning the bins. What is the job of cleaning the bins? Does that mean sealing boxes and picking up whatever people have on the floor? Or
it's going to be all the above. People are going to open boxes and stuff's going to be spread out everywhere. In that case, you're just going to have to throw it all away. Or somebody just open a box, you can reseal it. Some people like right on the outside what it is, so you don't have to open that box again. But you're going through a bin, like you have a system, like you're working from left to right in your store. And as you're cleaning up bins, you're throwing it into the other bins, right? So so if a bins are full when you start, then they get down to half full. You can combine bins because your goal, and as you're combining them, you're cleaning that bin out and all the trash is being taken out. And then you move on to the next bin, right? And you just keep doing that all week long so that your work on restock day gets minimized into, just a few hours worth of work. So, it's your slow day that you do all your bins and all your cleaning, and because you don't need 2 people behind the register on $3 day, because you'll still do good money on $3 day, but it's just going to be more of a steady stream of people coming in all day long. They're not there because they got to get to the bargains first. They're there because they're just picking and looking, and a lot of people are looking stuff up to see where the value is and everything that you're doing. So, yeah.
The store that we had in Tampa, it's a smaller store with only, I think it was 20 bins, something like that. And we always tag team. I always told, when managing them, I told them 1 behind the register, 1 always on the floor, and for each hour, and then they swap. So this way they're taking turns. 1 is always on the floor, consolidating bins, removing the trash. And the reason for it is more to deter people from stealing as well. You always want somebody there. Again, we don't really worry about stealing so much, but to have somebody on the floor present doing that customer service is ideal. And then 1 behind the register, and then tag teaming every hour if it's a smaller bin store. If it's a bigger bin store, different story.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I did have that philosophy one time, like open a bin store in a flea market because you're going to have all these guaranteed customers. Didn't really work out for us. I mean, we had some other issues there that we didn't expect, but it just seemed like the customers were just cheap. I don't know if that's the right.
Well, no, the customers were the other merchants.
So they were waiting until $3 day or $2 day, $1 day, and we were only allowed to be open for
5 days a week.
5 days a week. So, we lost a couple of days in there, and then they just waited till $1 day, and they bought a lot of stuff on $1 day, but it just wasn't as profitable as I thought. I don't know. Anyways, doing a regular bin store in a retail location works better for us. We've seen more profit, more bottom line, and we can't wait.
I have a question for you, Tom. So I know you have experience with bin stores in retail locations and bin stores in malls, like a separate retail and inside a mall. Which one do you think has more advantage? Which one would you recommend more? If someone wants to open a bin store and they have the option of somewhere retail space or inside a mall, which one would you recommend to them?
Well, my answer is I think you can be successful at both, but there's no doubt it's inevitable you're going to get more foot traffic in a mall because you're going to get those people that walk by and like, the hell is that? What are they doing in there? Why is there 300 people in there standing around bins, right? And then they're going to get intrigued, and they're going to go in, and you're going to get some additional customers that you wouldn't get. I mean, you can, like in Georgia, Stellian, he outside the store, he blasts a radio because we're in a strip mall, right? So he blasts this radio, hoping that people that go to the grocery store, people that go to the other stores will look over and say, what the hell is going on over there, and want to come over to our store. We even put 10 iPads a week in our bins at that store. And so we have a big sign on the highway that says every week, $12 iPads. And people come into the store just because of that banner sign we have out by the street. But we're in a plaza that it's probably they're rated A, B, and C. We're in a C-rated plaza. So in a C-rated plaza, they have a hard time getting tenants. So the rules are a lot less there. If you're in an A-rated plaza, you're not putting banners outside. You're not blasting your stereo, right? You can't hang banners on you can't do all these little gimmicks because they're like, you got to follow the rules, right? So being in like Super Bins down in Miami, the big store. If you guys haven't watched that video, you got to watch that video. It's one of the most incredible videos we ever did. And Super Bins in Miami is in a triple A rated mall. I mean, one of the best malls in America. And there is, 100,000 visitors a day going through that mall. So they are inevitably going to get a few thousand people every day additionally because of that traffic. It's just, when we did the video down there, we opened the front door and there was, 500, 600, 700 people in line. And then I turned to the right and they opened the mall door and there was another 200 or 300 people in the mall door. I didn't even realize that there's going to be so many people from inside the mall coming into the store. But yeah, it it's inevitable. But I think it's rare to get into an A mall location. But they proved to me that you could. They proved to me that you could. I mean, they're paying a little bit more rent than I would want to pay, but they are in one of the best malls in America. And it's fun. Esteban, you remember the name of the mall? For some reason, it always skips my mind. It's something Grass. I live next to Wiregrass Mall, so this is something Grass Mall.
I'll get it for you. Give me just a minute.
Yeah.
I think even with the high rent, it's so worth it because you're guaranteed that you're gonna, like you said, bring at least 1,000 people a day. That should cover like most of the extra rent. All of it, yeah.
Believe me, it's worth it. Believe me, they are very good guys, very nice guys. Those guys are young. Those guys are younger than you, man. You know, the two guys that own the store, they are 22 years old. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
These guys are incredible, man. Super nice guys, super, man. I mean, it's just, you know, so they're in your group, buddy. They're in your group, buddy. So they're part of the young guns, man. Yeah, the young guns. We got a new brand of young guns, man. Colton and Damien are now in their 30s, so they're not the young guns anymore. So that's the older I get, the more OG I get, so I can keep my title. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm in a mall here. This mall. I mean, our bin store is the busiest store in the mall. There's no doubt. You'll walk through this mall, there'll be 30 people walking around, but you'll look at our bin store, there'll be 200 people in there. You know, it's. But I mean, the rent's cheap, utilities are included, so you know, economically, it makes a lot of sense to be in this mall. Even though I'm in a small town, you know, I'm not in a big town here in Florida. Lake Wales might have a population like 8,000 people, I think. You know, I mean, but 7 miles away, we got a city with like 50,000, and we got Lakeland with over 100,000, about 20 miles away. But yeah, and I might move into a 60,000 square foot space in this mall, and really up that bin. But the price is right. I mean, if you can find a C mall that is desperate for people, I mean, I know for a fact I got another buddy who just got 120,000 square feet for 25 grand a month. 120 in a mall.
That's insane.
With a 2-year lease. I'm like, that's
awesome.
I mean, in a major city. I mean, if you can find those locations are out there, people. If you can find them, go get them. Go get them. Go look for Halloween cities, man. Is that what it's called?
Let me ask you this, Tom. What if it's a dead mall? You know, someplace where it's completely abandoned. Would you still take that opportunity? Even though it's not even a C tier mall, it's a D tier mall because it's not even open.
That's where we are.
Would you still take it?
That's where we are.
We're 50% of our mall is vacant.
Oh wow! I thought the mall you guys were in was still like full.
No.
I'm done.
Hey.
Oh wow. Hello.
Yeah, 50% of our mall is vacant, man. And you know, and people move in here all the time. You know, it's funny. Like people move into this mall and open a clothing store, and I'm like, give them 3 months. They're gonna break their lease, and they're gonna get sued by the mall owner, and it happens because nobody has. You know, they're not putting in unique businesses in here. You know, you got to be unique. You got to have some. You know, you got to be doing something that nobody else is doing, and that's what a bin store does. A bin store is unique, so you can I mean, people are in back of warehouses. You know, I think you're going to be in a warehouse space. I don't think that matters. It doesn't matter. I mean, if your marketing is on spot, if you let people know, you got to let people know where you're at. You got to have maybe signage out front of the
you got to make noise.
Warehouse location. Yeah, you got to make a lot of noise, man, and people will find you. It doesn't matter where you're at. It doesn't matter how crappy your mall is. It doesn't matter. I mean, I need a webcam of my bin store, you know, and you'll just see that it's just packed all the time, man. Packed all the time. It's just incredible. Just incredible. Hang on one second. I got to make a little money. Hang on real quick. Do you want to use those? We're going to use some.
All right. Daniel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. So let's bring Tom back on. Sorry.
Oh, right. You could have recorded that conversation.
Right. I got the name. It's called Super Bins at the Sawgrass Mills Mall.
Sawgrass Mills Mall, and you go. They got tennis. No, it's not tennis anymore. What do they? Let's say again they play. Jeremy plays it. Pickleball.
Pickleball.
They got pickleball courts inside there. They got. They got Louis Vuitton. They
pickleball right next to Louis Vuitton.
I swear to God, this mall is huge, and it is first class. Every store in the world is in there, and they let a bin store in there. I was like, Are you kidding me? Hey, Google who? Actually, let me ask Jack. Let me see what Jack has to say. It's called Sawgrass Mills.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask my AI here real quick. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Tom. What's on your mind today?
Hey, who owns the Sawgrass Mills Mall?
Sure thing. Sawgrass Mills Mall is actually owned by Simon Property Group.
They're one of the big names. So there we go. Simon Property Group owns Sawgrass Mills Mall. How many malls does Simon Property Group own? Hundreds.
Yeah.
So if they let one in Sawgrass Mills, they see they're paying the bills. They see the positive impact they're having on the mall. You don't think they're going to let bin stores in the other 100 malls they own? Hell yeah, they're gonna. Hell yeah, they're gonna. So go find Simon Group, Sawgrass Mills Mall, or Simon Group, any other malls, and you will. You can probably get a space in one of those malls if they have a vacant space. Yeah, this is Super Bins, man. What an incredible bin store. This is the best bin store I've seen in my life. I don't know about the paint colors, but I'm going to let them flow with it. But they put a lot of work into the store.
Pink markets to the ladies.
Yeah, they had to put a lot of work into the store because
that's insane. And they're so young too.
Mall. Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. But to open a store this size, I mean, you got to have $250,000 ready to go to be, be deployed. And it's but it's
for them to be so young, running at such a big scale. That's so impressive.
Yeah, here you go. Those are the owners right there. Yeah, they're good guys, man. They're very good guys. I mean, if you ever get a chance to talk to them, this is the little guy on my right. His left is Ben. He's the founder of the company. This is his second bin store, and then so. Great guy. He's quiet. He's shy. So, you got to kind of get him to open up for you. But he's a great kid. All right, Esteban, should we open it up to see if anybody has any questions out there? Or?
Yeah, I think we should. I got some that I marked as starred. So let's hit those up first. Let's start with New Hustle. We do liquidation retail, and it's definitely a lot of work. It works with our budget in our demographic, but I definitely get it.
Yeah.
Go.
I mean, okay. So the stuff you do pull out of your bins, 400.
Okay, somebody said 500.
No, 400. So the stuff you do pull out of your bins, like the iPads and the MacBooks and stuff like that. I mean, obviously you probably should have an eBay account or something to sell that higher end stuff. I don't have a problem with that. I don't want you to sell it in this. My recommendation is don't sell it in your store. Have an outlet like that to sell it. But leave everything else in the bins, man. Leave anything, especially something expensive Chinese products. Leave that in there. I don't care how much it is, man. It's not going to sell. People don't want it. It just doesn't sell, and then people also get a little weirded out as a customer, like, oh, they pull all the high value stuff out and put it into display cases and stuff like that. And, so I just find it easier to just move on from it, man. Don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as a gained customer. As a gained customer, you just got somebody's going to buy something that's worth $200. They're going to post it on their Facebook, or you're going to post it on your Facebook, your TikTok, your Instagram, and you're going to get 10 or 20 more customers because you spent that money on marketing. Instead of putting it behind your counter, you're giving it out. I mean, whenever we get something expensive, like we got e-bikes one time, regular bicycles, something expensive, what we do is we hide something in the bins, and whoever finds that hidden whatever a coin, like one time we got Donald Trump coins in, we hid them in the bins. Whoever found the Donald Trump coin got the e-bike, the $700 e-bike for $12. For $12. So we have little contests where that forces people to dig to the bottom of the bins to find this little coin, right? This little coin that turns into a $12 e-bike. And hopefully while they're digging, they're going to say, oh shit, I can use that. Oh, damn. I was going to buy one of these, Oh, look at that razor. It's only $12. I know it's $60 in the store. You know, that's what you want them to do. So that's what we do with the higher value stuff. We have a little like a hide and seek kind of contest for everybody. So you know,
do you do that every single week?
Every single week. Well, I mean, as long as we were mixing up some, you know, we were getting the Target IRC truckloads in there, so we were mixing that expensive stuff. But if we get something expensive, we especially try to do a hide and seek contest for it. You know, find it that way. You know, the problem is, let's say you put the bike over on one side of the store. It's like the first person to run to it gets it. So there's zero excitement except for that one person, right? Now, if they're looking for the coin, everybody's like, you know, after an hour, they're coming up to you. Can you give us a hint? Can you give us a hint? And I'll say, yes, it's in that half of the store, you know? So then everybody goes to the other half of the store and they starts digging, and, you know, and then so it's just a fun thing to do, especially just whatever you're hiding. It's got to be tiny. It's got to be small. It's going to fall to the bottom of the bin. You put it in the corner and make sure everybody has to dig for it, man. But we also hide 10 iPads.
Oh,
no,
that's
we hide
separate,
10
right?
iPads in the bins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
and those iPads, I assume you buy them from eBay or how do you?
My business partner doesn't like me to talk about that. He doesn't want me to give away his secrets. So I'll just say we find a way to buy iPads that are cost effective. And maybe off camera I'll tell you. But I was talking about it to somebody one time, and he looked at me and you know, he's from Serbia, you know, so he gave me that Arnold Schwarzenegger talk, like, Tom, do not talk about my stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Like the Terminator was gonna get me. So yeah. So we find a way to buy iPads. He finds a way to buy iPads. We put them in the bins, and it draws. Everybody's like, where are the iPads? Where are the iPads? But it draws a lot of excitement every week for very small costs. And remember, we're still making good money. So all these little gimmicks that we do, giving away our high value stuff, throwing in iPads, playing music, throwing out the leftovers of the bins, all that, even with all that stuff that everybody thinks is contrary to the business, we still make a ton of money there. You know, we make a ton of money in our bin stores. So, yeah.
All right. We have Go Big Resale. He's got two things. He's got a question about how much are the monsters, and he says that work isn't work when you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So. You know what I enjoy doing, Daniel? Making fucking money. Excuse me. Are we allowed to be X-rated on this?
Yep.
Making money, man. You know what's more fun in the world than anything? It's making money. Man, and so when you got a business that's that easy to run and you're killing it on it, you're killing it. I mean, there's no better life than that. When you can afford to go on vacation, buy fancy cars, live in big houses. You know, that's fun. That's fun. You dumping shit in bins is not fun, but making money off that stuff, that's fun. But I'll get, hey, reload day, I am reloading with my people. I am helping them reload. I am making sure they're full because employees want to do as little work as possible, right? So they only fill up the bins this level. I'm like, no, I want a damn mountain. I want it so when somebody pulls something out, things fall on the floor. I want so much stuff in my bins. I believe the money is unlimited that they will pay. I don't think we have an income problem in our country. There is so much money out there. And if you have great product, fill those damn bins up. Throw out the garbage. Make the money. They will buy it. They will buy it. I promise you. I promise you. If they like what you have, they will come back. If you leave shit stuff in there, you take out all the value, they won't come back. That's just economics 101. Economics 101. Just do it. Give them what they want. Don't pull the stuff out. Pull it. You know.
How much are these monster loads?
That's the monster medium loads, I think, that Daniel was talking about earlier. How much are those going for now? Like 10 grand? I think they're like 10 grand, 12 grand.
I was going to say that. They're about 10K.
Yeah, but those are the ones that are piled really, really high. I don't know if those are made. I don't know if they come from Amazon that way, but they didn't. You know, I get medium loads right now, but I get like the 5-foot Gaylords. But, yeah, they're about 10 grand.
I've got those in as well, yeah.
So
5-foot Gaylord mediums.
Yeah. So how much were you selling the monster pallets for? Like, so what's that work out to be? Like $600, $700?
About, yeah. About. Sometimes I would do bundles like, hey, if you take 2, you're gonna get $50 off or something like that.
Yeah, I tried it. The problem is like if you know, it's almost better like Like I always recommend making $100. I recommend making $100 a pallet, but that doesn't mean you price them at $100 a pallet profit. You price them at $150 a pallet price, and then you have a 50 because everybody wants to come and negotiate, or everybody wants to say, you don't understand how much business you and I are going to do. I'm like, buddy, I don't.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I
I'll
have
probably
that
never see you
conversation
again.
every week.
Yeah. I'm a serious buyer, man. I'm a serious buyer. Okay. All right. I'm not giving you a discount. But all right, you buy two, you can save $50 or something like that. So yeah. I like that idea. But yeah, I mean, my best pallet is the FC. I can't keep it in stock. I have 7-foot FCs full to the top. I sell for $750 to customers. I just can't keep it in stock. I got zero right now. My bin store opens on Thursday. I got zero FC to throw in my bins. Hopefully a truck's coming in on Wednesday. But yeah, I sell the hell out of FC. I got a lot of mediums. They sell okay. I got LPN, or 3PL monster pallets, which are pretty cheap. I sell for $500. But yeah.
Have you ever tried a floor load?
I bought a
medium floor load.
No, I bought a medium. Have you ever got a floor load before?
Not yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Wait till you have to unload that son of a bitch. Oh my God.
No, yeah.
I did a mediums floor load back when you can get them, and it wasn't that expensive, maybe $15,000 for the whole truck. It made up like 50 pallets of merchandise after I restacked them. It took like 8 hours to unload that truck. It took with like 5 guys. Because you got to think, once you get inside that truck, you're just chucking stuff to the first guy, and that guy's chucking stuff to the other guy. And then you got 2 people making pallets out of it. Oh, my God. It was worth it. But it was hell. And believe me, it was hell. But yeah.
But was it was worth the investment? I can't believe you made 50 pallets from that. That's insane. Yeah. And how tall were the pallets? 5 foot, 6 foot?
Yeah, we probably made them up to like 5 foot to where they started falling off. I don't know how those guys get those like 8 foot tall pallets done. They must have like a box they build it in and then like stack it all nice and neat and then wrap it somehow. I don't even know how they do it, man. I don't know. It's incredible. What do we got next, Esteban?
Next question from Levant. We just got a bin store in Pensacola, which has 97 bins. How on earth do people find reliable suppliers?
It's hard. It's definitely hard. There's so much processed stuff out there that it's ridiculous. And, I get caught in the trap all the time of buying that stuff thinking, okay, I know this, I recognize this person. I've seen him a lot of times. I know people buy from him. He's been around for years. Let me try a load. And it ends up being shit. Ends up being, I think I alluded to it earlier. I got a double stack load the other day. It was LPN. And they said, they took out all the clothing and food, which there's typically no food and clothing. By the time I got it, it was crap. There was nothing over $30. When I get my raw LPN loads, which I can normally get, it is filled with $100 items, filled. So I know what a crap load looks like from a good load, and you have to figure out how to get around that. I mean, I always recommend people text me if you're going to buy a load. But first of all, make sure you get tons of pictures of the load. Do not buy anything without pictures. Got to get pictures. I made that mistake so many times, and I still make that mistake. I just want to kick myself in the ass when I make that mistake. After being in this business for 20 years, I trust somebody. Yeah, go ahead and ship it. And then you get it and you realize, oh, this person has an auction company that you didn't know about. So they took all the good mediums out and sold you all the shit mediums. Although they charged you a good price, it's all shit. And that happens all the time in this business. And you have to weed that out. You have to go to the meetups. You have to go to Vegas. You have to go to Kentucky. You have to meet the real people in this industry, the people that don't have stores but have contracts, that are willing to sell you loads, that aren't pilfering these loads. You got to find those people. You got to meet those people. So how do you do it? You go to the meetups. You talk to people. You talk to people online. But I think online, it's easier face-to-face when you're seeing somebody to be able to get a judgment of their character than online, man. There's crap loads everywhere, so just be careful. Everybody be careful out there. That's why I recommend text me. Text me if you got something going on. You got a load you want to buy. And there's sometimes I'm going to say, I don't know. A lot of times I'm going to say, I don't really know. There's a lot of times I'm going to say, I'd be careful. But there's other times I say, yeah, I bought from this guy 100 times. He's a great guy, I know there's a guy in New York City that I don't recommend. And this son of a bitch is ripping people off, man. Ripping people off. Guys, I seen it firsthand. I had people right down the road in Orlando buy a load. Told them it was direct from Amazon. 4-foot FC direct from Amazon, $15,000. The same load is processed from Miami from a guy who sells it for $7,500. So that guy made $7,500 profit brokering this load to new people in Orlando. And it was processed. Bullshit. This guy should be arrested, man. Should be arrested.
Oh yeah, I've definitely had a lot of loads that I asked Tom, like, hey Tom, what do you think of this load? And he helps me out. I'm so grateful for that, because it is a risk, and some people are so scared because it's not little money that these loads are 10, 15, 20K, and it helps out so much whenever I have someone like Tom that I send them picture. Hey Tom, do you know this person? Yes, he does. Okay. Hey Tom, no, he doesn't know it. So I just want to say thank you so much, Tom, for all the help that you've been giving me. And because it's definitely influenced my decision making when buying truckloads.
Yeah, no problem. And if I can do a little bitch stone one more time, I bought a load. I paid $27,000. I talked about it in one of my other videos. It was an LPN coffin box load. I bought it from a friend of mine. I consider this guy a friend of mine. I see him in Vegas every year. I talk to him all the time. He's a good guy. He brokered it from somebody else. Claims he only made a few $100 on it. I don't know the truth. When it came in, it was brown box, regular tape. It was an LPN load where all the value was taken out, and they cut off the LPN tags off every item. So every item was destroyed in a $27,000 load. $27,000 load. I didn't get pictures like I should have. If I would have said, send me pictures of the load, I would have seen that was a brown box load with white tape. Clear tape. That's not an Amazon load. That is some douchebag selling an Amazon load when it's actually a process load that they went through. That's the worst load. And the problem is I split it with super bins. I set up the deal. I split it with super. So not only did I get screwed, my buddy got screwed. So now I got to make it up to him. I mean, we both went into this deal together. So it's just horrible how it happens out there. So yeah, I got to get positive here. I hate getting negative, but yeah, send the load to me and Daniel, man. We can tell you with our experience what we know, what we buy, and who to stay away from. I mean, listen, I don't care that they sell processed loads. Just tell them it's been processed. Okay, no problem, man. No problem. It's cheaper. Some people like using them. I don't like it.
All right. We have a question from Ladies First. Do you ever put high piece counts in your bins or the target IRCs? Do you ever put target HPC in your bins or target IRCs in your bins?
I mean, my answer is yes, but I don't want to. So we have bought in some IRC loads. So IRC loads have bigger stuff in it and then little stuff in it. And the little stuff has a lot of value. So I like the IRC loads. Once again, I like putting LPN and FC, dumping it in the bins, filling them up, throwing out the trash at the end of the week, and nothing else. IRC loads might come with a chair, a desk, a broken playland. Might come with a whole bunch of VR headsets. It's going to come with a lot of value stuff in there. But it doesn't fit for my bins. So I'm going to say, yes, I've done it before. I've done it. I've done medium in bins. But when I'm putting 4 mediums in one bin, or I could put 400 FCLPN mix in one bin, where are you going to make more money? Just focus on the value of the LPN and FC. Focus. And everything else is noise. Forget about everything else. So you can do that. You can buy those. I've seen a Target high piece count 4-foot pallets on the market. They're being flooded on the market right now. Those are processed, right? Somebody makes those. They don't come like that. They're taking the general merchandise loads, breaking it down, putting the big stuff in one pallet. They're filling these little bins with the cheaper stuff. They're processing. If you want to buy that, go buy that. They're good for pallet sales, but I don't think they're good for bins. You know, they're processed. You got to have value in your bins. You got to have those high value items. Stick to LPN and FC. That's my recommendation. Can you do all that other stuff? Yes. 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 If you want to have chairs on the side of your bin store and tables and box 1 of 2 because somebody returned something only a half a box and, you know, broken this, broken that. You don't have to worry about that with FC and LPN. You don't have to worry about it. A lot less work. This is what I do every day. I dump stuff into bins, and then I clean them out at the end of the week. That's it. That's what I like about a bin store. Make your money, move on to the next week. Hey, it's hard enough keeping up with the inventory. It's hard enough just making sure you got enough FC and LPN out there. That's the hard part. That's when I recommend you buying process loads. If you can't get a load for this week, you got to buy a process load. It's going to be a little cheaper. All the value is going to be extracted out. But at least you have something. At least you have something, right? And, you know, just do that over and over and over again. And in 1 store, 2 stores, 3 stores, 4, 5 stores, over and over and over again. Imagine if somebody came to you and said, hey, when you mix these two metals together, you get gold. And you said, well, I'm going to add a little this and that, and now you got fool's gold. The gold is FC and LPN. Just stick to the gold. Just stick to the gold. It makes you money. It makes you money. That's my opinion.
We have Virgil who says, if I were to open a bin store with 20 bins, how much inventory would I need to start with? You gotta don't forget your back stock too, right?
Yeah. If you got 20 bins, you got to have a couple thousand square feet in storage, or tractor trailers outside that you can store stuff in, or some way to store your next week inventory. Remember, you always want to be ahead of the inventory. So even with 20 bins, you really probably only need 12 pallets. I mean, if you like my 7-foot FCs come 7 foot. They're not the ones you see that are half full. My 7-foot FCs, 12 pallets will fill those bins. We'll fill those bins pretty good. So I don't know if you got any additional recommendation, Daniel, but probably a half a truckload would fill 20 bins.
That's what I was thinking, about half a truckload.
Yeah.
So buying a full truckload, putting half in the back.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, all I would say is that if you have financial concerns and that's why you're opening a 20 bin store, start with pallet sales. Start just like, wait, can I see the camera? Start just like the second guy over here started, man. And then build your way up. Just do pallet sales. Get a small store, do pallet sales, make $100 a pallet. Sell 1 truckload a week. That's $2,400 a week. Times 4, that's $10,000 a month. Minus your rent, $2,000. You get $8,000 profit a month. That's it. Start there. Save your money for a year. You'll have $96,000 minus your expenses saved up. Then you can open a bigger bin store. I recommend a bigger bin store. It's hard with small bin stores. That's my recommendation.
What's your take on mystery boxes, Josephine asks?
I mean, I like mystery boxes. I sell mystery. If I have plenty of inventory and then extra pallets of mystery boxes, I might throw some mystery boxes in my store. Mystery boxes nowadays are getting more expensive. I mean, now I see them 35, 40. There's somebody in Orlando who makes mystery boxes and sells them for $60. I'm like, a processed mystery box for $60? I mean, it's, I do get truckloads, once a month or so. But, I will sell them in my store, but I prefer not to. I'd rather open them up, throw them in my bins. But, that's probably the one thing I'm least against doing extra in a bin store is selling mystery boxes. Because if you have enough inventory to fill all your bins, and then you're just selling large mystery box for $50, you're making $15, $20 a box. I'm all right with that. I know that on super bins, they sold like 12 pallets that first day they were open. Everybody was buying. But they were finding iPads in there, man. Somebody found a MacBook. It was awesome. It was awesome. And so if you do the math on 12 pallets, so that's so if they're making $20 a box, 20, that's $400 a pallet. So they made an extra $5,000 profit their first day by selling mystery boxes. So is that money they want to spend in their bins? No. If you operate on the premise that everybody has unlimited money, which I know everybody doesn't have unlimited money, But there's a lot of people out there that shop at bin stores that are hoarders, that are professionals. I mean, even like on my Whatnot channel, man. I mean, it's like 10 people buy the majority of my stuff. I'm like, and they've been buying the same shit for 6 months, but they keep buying it because they think it's a great deal. I'm like, oh yeah, we got 4 storage units. One of my employees has 4 tractor trailer containers in their backyard because they keep buying shit from my bin store and throwing in these tractor trailers. I don't know why they do it, but they got shopping problems.
Oh my God.
All right. Esteban, on you. What is your thought on pallet sales with delivery, pros and cons? I like delivery. I do like delivery. One thing that we just did is we just rented a truck. So we just rented a 26-foot truck. Now, I used to, when I had my old store, I had 2 trucks, but the insurance was like $30,000 a year. It was ridiculous. So now we're renting a, I'm trying to think of what brand it is. It's not Budget, not Penske. Oh, that looks good. Looks good. So we rent a truck. It costs us $3,000 a month to rent a truck. So, and now we do, but I do furniture sales in my warehouse, and now we can do free delivery on the furniture. So if they spend $1,000 on a couch, I can deliver it to their house. If somebody wants to buy 6 pallets, we can deliver it to them and make $400 on the delivery or something like that. And we rent a big truck. So you don't have to rent a big truck. You can rent a smaller truck and not pay as much as we are. But I do like the idea of having a truck if you're doing pallet sales. If you know, a lot of people won't buy because they don't know how to get it out of there. Or they go like, oh, I better go find somebody. I'll see if my dad will let me use his truck. But you lose the sale right there. Hey, for $100, I'll deliver it to you. And it's 10 miles away or something like that. So I do like that. Next question, Esteban. Do you do delivery, Daniel?
I do delivery. I always try to push the customers to pick up just because they are going to save those $100. But I do delivery, although it's rare. And I have a guy that does it all for me. I just text him, hey, I need it picked up at this time and delivered here. He has it covered.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have any more questions. You answered a lot of them, but I wanted to show you this real quick.
Well, Go Big Resale says we sell our boxes for $50 all day. I like that. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
We got our front doors done up. Finally, nice.
Nice.
That's to our mall. Yeah, Enterprise. Nathan says Enterprise truck. That's right. Enterprise is the brand that we use. Go there. They might ask you to put some. You might have to put it on your insurance policy, but I don't think that was that much. So, but it's worth for me. It's worth having it. I mean, 2 people already pay truck drivers $450 a week to take deliveries of my pallets. So I'm like, well, if I got a truck, one of my employees can deliver it and make the $450 a week, and then we won't have to worry about it. But they buy 12 pallets at a time. Brent says, for pallet sales, how do you price the pallets? Where's the best place to source truckloads for pallet sales? I mean, it depends where you're at, Brent, but there's people. I mean, I would go to the Facebook groups. You see people all the time in the Facebook groups. Depending on, I mean, I don't know where you see those Amazon monsters, the media monsters advertise all the time. Just be careful. Just be careful if somebody's got an auction house, they're taking out the good ones and selling the bad ones. But I know that there's Target contract holders all over the country. If you want to private message me, I can send you some guys. I mean, I don't care if I say Leo. A lot of people buy from Leo. So depending on where you're located, Brent, you're going to have to find somebody. I like to find somebody in the Southeast so I can save thousands of dollars on shipping. So, but that doesn't mean I won't take a good price load from Indiana or something. I won't ship from Texas. From Texas to me is like $3,500. From me to Texas, like $1,500. So it's expensive to come to Florida. It's just a bad place to be. But like Georgia, shipping to my Georgia store, nothing. Like a few hundred, probably $600-700 from a good majority of the country. So the Georgia store is nice. There's a lot of loads in Texas, though, right? There are a lot of dealers in Texas.
Yeah, there's a lot of loads in Texas. All over Texas, yeah.
What are your thoughts on Bullseye? Josephine asks. Ew, right?
You ever got a Bullseye load, Daniel?
I've gotten loads that have a lot of Bullseye, and I mean it's just cheap stuff. It's just cheap. It's brand new, but it's cheaper stuff.
I mean,
I
if you
don't think
don't
there's a
mind getting
huge profit margin.
like 1,000 plastic Kleenex holders, then buy a Bullseye truckload. I mean, they're cheap loads. They're cheap loads. They are, and you get a lot of cheap stuff in it, because it's a cheap load. So it's new though. It's new product, but like I put them in my bin stores, and they just don't. I mean, it's like definitely 50-cent day stuff. You might get a few things that are, even they're all priced, because they're in that front of the Target store where they're all priced. You get a few, the sellers will tell you it's $10 and less. Very few things are in there $10. It's like you'll find you'll get a whole tractor trailer load of stuff, and 6 items will be $10, and that means that they're right. They're $10 and less. The rest is all $2 and $3 items, $1, $2, and $3 items. Which
it's mostly $1 items, then $3, and then occasionally you get the $5, but it's always $1 and $3 for the most part.
Yeah. All right, where are you at? What is Matt-tastic Dumpster Diamond? Good afternoon, Tom. Oh wait, are you another one?
All right.
How much would it cost for you to sell the whole bin store setup? I saw you made a video about like the POS system, bin manual, everything. So we are working on that. I'm actually I might even have the quote right now. We're getting the quotes. We're getting a commercial quote on building a whole bin store out. Negotiating with the lumber yards and how much we can buy the wood for. And then we're going to manufacture the bins. We're going to make them mobile, where the legs are going to come off and be stored on the inside. And then we can sell the whole bin store package to people. We're going to have cash outs. We're going to have the cash register systems. We can set up your system for you. We're going to have your operations manuals. We're working on all that kind of stuff for that. We're not 100% there yet, but we're in the process. We're actively working on that. Esteban's working on the admin part of it. I'm working on the bin part of it. I'm with a construction guy who's working on the construction of it, and we're working on being able to sell a whole bin store package to somebody. We'll paint them any color you want. They should be good, high quality bins on wheels, and so I mean, if you add in the cost, our total cost and profit, it's probably going to be about $150 a bin, and but we can just put in a tractor trailer a whole bin store for you to get set up. There are people that don't want to do the building of the bins by themselves. They don't want to do it. It's a pain in the ass. It is a pain in the ass. I mean, you're probably building your bins right now, Daniel. You got them all built yet?
Almost. We're almost done with them, but it is a pain. It's a pain.
Yeah. I mean, some people spend a month. You can spend a month building bins, or you can just order them from us in the future, and we'll build them for you and send out the whole package. That's your choice.
If I had to do this again, sorry to interrupt, I would 1,000% buy them. If for example, you had them available, I would just buy them.
Yeah.
Personally.
Plus, we buy bins from any bin store that goes out of business. Normally you can get you can buy the bins for I think $50. I bought one time like 100 bins for $50 a piece. The problem is they had the solid wooden legs on them, so it took me a ton of tractor trailers to ship all of them to me. Luckily, it was only in Miami, so it wasn't that much shipping. But that's why we're making them so they can be stacked one on top of the other. I'm hoping I can fit 150 bins in a tractor trailer load, and then you can you can open one of these jumbo bin stores in one truckload, and then that's where we're going to be able to deliver the most value for you. So you literally can be set up and ready to roll in 1 week. In 1 week, instead of taking 2-3 months to get rolling. Yeah. All right.
Virgil asks.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Is Smart Source Wholesale a reliable place to purchase truckloads from? I think isn't Smart Source owned by one of the big companies? I think. I've never bought from Smart Source. Find out who that is.
I think.
Or is that
Jason?
Yeah,
that's Jason. Well, yeah. Let me say that Jason is a very nice guy. I like Jason a lot. I've seen him in. He does in Vegas. He does a lot of pizza parties. So I've gotten some free pizza from Jason. So he is a reliable source. Just make sure that you're asking if the load's been touched, if the load's been processed. once again, he sells a lot of different loads. He's a good guy and he's an honest guy. Just, once again, make sure, ask if the load's been processed. Still, I don't care who, even if I recommend somebody 100%, still get pictures of the load. Get pictures of the load. And remember, a lot of people will just throw some good stuff on top of a pallet and send you one picture. You want to maybe do a live to see all the pallets, guys. See everything you're going to buy. If you're making a $15,000, $20,000 investment, you better set your damn eyes on something. All right. Don't take my word for it. Still, even if I recommend somebody, put your eyes on the load. Best thing you could do is go there and visit the location and dig through the pallet to make sure they don't have just good stuff on top and crap stuff on the bottom, because that'll happen too. So yeah, I like Jason. I think he's an honest guy. Just, make sure you still look at the loads that you're going to buy. But that's my recommendation with anybody. All right, next question. We still got a bunch of questions over here. We will keep answering questions. You good? You good, Daniel?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
All right. Where is the best Wally World truckloads coming from? Josh Garcia. I don't buy much Walmart. It's in my area. It seems that a few buyers have kind of cornered the market and bought the contract out. So I can't seem to get it, at least in the Southeast. And I very rarely see it offered. I don't know if you can buy that in Texas, Daniel.
I haven't. No, not those.
And once again, I would recommend Walmart loads for pallet sales, but not for bin stores.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm very, very scared of the Walmart loads because I know some people. Because I'm friends with other owners, and they've had very bad experiences. I'm just scared. I'm just scared of those loads. I know there's some good ones out there, but
yeah, you can see them on B Stock, right? You can go on B Stock and buy them, but they go for like 35% of retail, And I'm like, how are you making money at 35% of retail? When you're buying an FC load at 6%, you're buying an LPN load at 10%. Why are you paying 30% for larger, for Walmart stuff? But in the same breath, people like Walmart loads, people like Target loads, people like those loads. So if you're doing pallet sales, it might work. You're just going to get a lot of, there's too many pallets that come with a sofa table, outdoor chair, an umbrella, and a garbage can, all wrapped together in one pallet. So that pallet nobody's going to buy, right? You get other pallets that have great. I mean, one time I found like 6 PS4s in a pallet, which was one of my rare ones. I was shocked. Because I know it was a repacked load. I found out afterwards that the buyer I bought it from repacked 2 trucks into 3, and I'm shocked they didn't pull those off. They must not have saw them, So there is sometimes. Nathan Robinson, thoughts on Dollar General loads? They're okay. Dollar General loads are okay. It's funny, like I brought in a Dollar General load. I didn't have much luck with it. We broke a lot of it down, put it in the bins. And then everybody kept asking me for Dollar General loads afterwards. So they're okay for pallet sales. Once again, I don't recommend for the bins. You will get it's funny, you'll get one pallet with like tons of like makeup and general merchandise. And then you get other pallet with just junky, stuff similar to the Target, the cheap Target loads. So, I mean, they're cheap enough. I mean, actually the price is like going up. Sometimes you can get them from like $8,000. Now I'm seeing them for like 10 or 12 grand. I don't know. They're okay.
I've sold some of those, and the feedback that I've gotten is normally really good. Yeah, and I think the only issue I've ever had is that one time someone told me that there was like 6 pallets full of expired like drinks. But then after that, a week later, they're like, hey, never mind, this load is actually pretty good, even though it had 6 pallets of drinks.
Yeah, and I don't mind, I mean, that's another thing when people get into this business. They're like, yeah, I'll buy your drinks, but they all need to be in date. I'm like, this is liquidation, buddy. Get used to shit being expired, guys. Get used to it. And don't worry about it. Just throw it in your bin. I mean, do whatever you're going to do. Sell it. People will buy expired stuff. They buy expired stuff all the time. There are people that get into this business and throw out all the expired stuff. I'm like, no. They don't care that aspirin is 1 month past date. It's $9 in the store. They'll pay $1 for it on Dollar Day. Just throw it in your bins. I don't know. I got one bin store I supply. They throw out all the expired stuff. I try to tell them not to, but Tom, how much would it cost to purchase truckloads from you plus shipping on Amazon HPC? Fantastic dumpster diving. You know, I do sell loads when I have enough. I just don't always have enough. And the problem is, if you rely on me for loads, you're gonna, you know, I just don't have enough. And I'm trying to 10x that, right? I have a couple subcontracts that I get regularly that I could supply regularly. But if I run low and I can't supply my stores, I can't really be supplying your stores. So that's the problem. You need to find another seller along with me. So, you know, I do sell loads occasionally when I have extra loads, but unless my supplier 2X's, 3X's, 4X's is loads, you know, I don't have enough to supply everybody. And that's a good I guess that's a good problem to have. So I am looking for subcontracts from anybody that'll give it to me, man. I am trying to buy out contracts. I am going through the process right now of being able to bid on contracts myself from Amazon, from Target, from all these different companies, because I have the warehouse space, I have the financial capital, and, you know, I have the knowledge. I've been in the business long enough where I think that they could approve me. Will I get approved? I don't know. I've been kicked off Amazon selling, so I don't know if the Amazon's going to let me bid on contracts here. I don't know how that works, but hopefully I get a Target contract. Hopefully I get other contracts. I'm working on that. So,
if you do get a contract, I'll definitely be a big customer.
my man Daniel, my man. Tom, how did your awesome truckload turn out? Did you make money at it? I did. I bought an awesome truckload. I tried to make $100 a pallet on the truck, and it just sold a little slow. But as long as you got enough space, it's not a bad load to give people variety. Because, you know, Awesome has, you know, you can like look up every box had like the item number, what's in it, so you can look that up and look on their website to see what it is. And so we did a video on one. So like, I forget what each pallet cost me, $400, let's say, and we found like almost $2,000 worth of merchandise on the one pallet that we processed. There was maybe 2 or 3 items that were missing some parts and pieces, but overall it did sell. People bought it. It just took a little longer. Like my FC sells in a second. My mystery boxes sell in a second. You know, my 3PL sells a little slow. My mediums sell a little slow, and those sell a little slow. My DG sells a little slow. But if you have the room, it's always good to have that stuff added in. You know, I just want to sell pallets. So the more stuff I have, as long as you have the cash flow, as long as you have the space, you can mix those pallets in, you know, and just be honest and open with everybody who's buying them. Daniel, this is for you. How do you decide how much to charge for your resale pallets?
So I really go based off how much the customer can make. That's always my number one thing. So I see the pallet and I'm like, okay, I need to charge it somewhere where there's enough margin. Why? Because if there's not enough margin, that's a customer that's never going to return. And if there's enough margin, I guarantee that person is going to return. And I'm glad to say that I have a lot of returning customers because I price them somewhere where I know they're going to profit. You know, and I just follow Tom's advice. Tom says make $100-$150 a pallet, and it works. You know, it's that simple. I've just been doing what Tom says, make $100-$150 a pallet. It works. It really does work. As long as your customers are making money, you're going to be making money.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Brent. But let me reiterate something here, that there's deals you're going to get in this business where you can make a lot more than $100-$150. So
yeah,
so I say make $100-$150, but if you find a deal where you're buying a truckload where it's costing you $500 a pallet, but the market rate is $1,000 on that pallet, you're going to sell it for $1,000. You're going to sell it for the market rate. Now, the market rate normally is making $100-$150, but you're going to find deals where you're going to make a lot more than that. And if you can source those deals out, there's a dirty secret that we're not allowed to talk about on here in this industry of where you can get those underpriced truckloads. But if anybody wants to message me, I will be happy to share that with them. But you know, you can find loads that you can make more money on. So my recommendation for liquidation loads is $100-$150, but or price it at $150 or so. You know, if you have to go down to $100, take the money. But there are times you're going to make. I mean, there's times where I made there's times where I've made on one truckload the amount of money that people make, that the average person makes in a year on one load.
That's insane. Oh my gosh.
Those don't happen very often, and I don't want to mention what the product was, but it just happened to be my seller was selling at a price and my buyer was buying at a price that the commission was around $70,000. So those do happen. I mean, you know, there's single SKU items. That's why I like brokering single SKU items. Like somebody might come to you and say, like right here, I have this Anne Klein watch, right? I mean, I don't think it's worth much, but this is just my example, right? Somebody will come to you and say, Tom, I have a truckload of 40,000 Anne Klein watches and I need to get $5 a piece out of them. And then you go find somebody to buy it at $6 a piece times 40,000. That's a $40,000 profit, right? But the buyer thinks it's a good deal. The seller thinks it's a good deal. And you are matching the buyer and seller together. And you make the VIG in the middle. And you're not trying to be greedy on it. You're not trying to be greedy on it. You just know that, you know, this is probably a, you know, I mean, it's marked $179, but it's probably what, a $40 watch? So somebody buying this for $6 still has plenty of profit in there, guys. And when you're doing the single SKU items, I love single SKU items, you know, and if you can match up buyers and sellers, and listen, I've shown people that I don't make, I've shown it on this channel here. I don't make any money on this YouTube channel. Zero money on YouTube. What is it, Esteban? $125 a month, I think. $150 a month, I think I get paid. And then I take that money and I just promote stuff. You know, so I lose money on this channel, but because I'm being introduced to buyers and sellers all the time, my job has made it is so much easier. And so you guys have to do the same thing. You've got to introduce yourself to buyers and sellers all the time. And then you can hit those home runs too. You know, you can hit those home runs too. So single SKU items, huge profits.
There's a lot of people overseas in South America and all those places that would buy all of that. Yeah, I saw someone comment about the overseas. I send the container to Bolivia and I send the container to Panama and to Mexico. And yeah, they love that stuff.
Yeah, I do a lot of overseas. It's nice that I'm in Florida. You're in Texas, so it puts us in great states that want to do exporting. You know, I get customers all the time, and the value that I bring to the customer, right, is that they can say, I want 10 FC, I want 12 LPN, I want to mix in some Amazon, you know, electronics, I want to try some CVS, I want to try some shoes, I want to try all these pallets, and I can create a load for them that's unlike we can get here in the States, right? Because we can't buy those loads unless we're buying it from a pallet house, right? But if I bring in all those loads, I can give somebody a mixed load. Now we export right now to Puerto Rico, the Cayman Islands, Panama, you know, Mexico. We're exporting as much as we can to overseas, you know. And overall, I mean, the truth is you don't make a lot. I mean, I make a couple $1,000 every time I ship one of these containers, you know, but it's worth it to me, right? It's worth it to me. It's a big sale. It's a good amount of money. And if you can do 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, I mean, I don't do that many. I probably do one every 2 weeks, you know, but it just adds to my overall sales, you know. So if you add in pallet sales, you add in brokering, you add in exporting, you add in the single SKU item sales, you add in the bin store sales, you add in, you know, single item sales, you add all that stuff together, right? You can make a lot of money, guys. You can make a lot of money in this business. You know, you just gotta, but if you don't meet anybody, you're not gonna make shit. You're not gonna make shit.
Yeah. What are your best pallets to sell, Daniel, when you started selling pallets? When you start, I recommend just keep it simple. Just do Target general merchandise and Amazon mediums. Just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Start selling those, they will sell. And then once you get more, then you can start mixing up other loads. Maybe you can start getting clothing loads. Maybe you can start getting Dollar General. Just you can start mix. But I highly, highly, highly recommend just stick to the basics, which in my opinion is going to be Target GM and Amazon GM, the mediums.
Yeah. Another load that I did real well was like Amazon shoes. You know, I bring in like 5-foot pallet of Amazon shoes. You know, I mark it up $150, and they sold really well because, you know, your costs on Amazon shoes are like $2, which is cheap. And there's going to be some brand name stuff sprinkled in there. But when somebody looks at a pallet, now the pallet ends up being like $1,000, but when they look at a pallet and they see, you know, 450 pairs of shoes for $1,000, they're like, oh my God, that's a great deal. I'm going to buy that. So that was another pallet that I do well with. Obviously, FC. If anybody can get a hold of good FC, that stuff sells fast. You know, I think my FC is the best in the business, and I just wish I could 10x what I could get because I would be rich. I just can't get any more. I just can't get any more. I need more. I'm always trying. I'm trying to buy out Tampa locations, Orlando locations, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Miami. I'm trying to buy out. I'm looking for subcontracts. So anybody know any contract holders? I want to buy out the contract. Just don't be greedy. Let's both make money together, and I can move them on. So, Tom, what is the youngest bin store owner that you know in the business? I mean, I think it's got to be Super Bins, man. Imagine the youngest and the biggest and baddest bin store is owned by Ben, man. Ben is crushing it down there in Miami, man. Sawgrass Mills Mall. Guys, if you haven't seen that video, you got to go see that video, man. It inspired.
It's a great
I
video.
made the freaking video, man. I made the video. And then I had to rewatch. I rewatched it, and it inspired the shit out of me. I'm like, why am I not doing this?
It even inspired me. Yeah, I'm like, man, I need to start now. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
I don't know how they.
I need to save up $250,000, and I need to do what he's doing. I need to do what they're doing. Now, listen, getting inventory for a store that size, when you're pumping 3-4 loads a week is not easy. It's not easy. The good thing is you're a big buyer, so a lot of people will talk to you. The good thing is he's a big buyer. A lot of people will talk to him. But it's a constant, you're constant. If he can't get a subcontract, he's always looking for loads, man. Always looking for loads. Yeah, this is showing the construction process that he went through. It was a Bed Bath & Beyond that was like littered with a whole bunch of stuff, and they tore it all down. They started fresh. They painted the whole store. They had to do a lot of work to get that store ready, but man, I'm telling you, it is worth it. It is worth the $250,000, man. Look at all those people. That's the first opening day, man. And you barely even see anything right now. You barely see anything. And this is later on in the video. So this is a couple hours after they opened. It was an incredible. Look at the people in line. I mean, the line stretched all the way around the other side of the mall, guys. You can't even see the end of that line. It goes around the corner and just keeps going, man. There were so many people. Once again, that was one entrance. In the mall entrance were there a few hundred more people. So people run there. The 260 carts were gone in like a minute, 1 minute. Okay, here's when they open up the mall doors. Look at that. Look at hundreds of people in the mall coming in. I didn't even know they were there.
That's insane.
Yeah. What an incredible store, man. It was so much fun when they opened that store up, man. It was just, I was in awe. And I've been to a million bin stores. I was in awe to see what they built there. And the only advertising they did was TikTok. Your favorite platform there, Daniel. TikTok. So
no, yeah, TikTok is extremely powerful. I didn't think so. I'll be honest. I thought stick to Facebook and Instagram is going to be the most powerful one. But honestly, for me, the most sales I make are from my TikToks. My TikToks. If you're already making one video, why not just, all it takes is 30 seconds just to post it on another platform. Post it Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
Look at here. They still haven't turned that corner way down there. They still haven't got to that corner, and there's already hundreds and hundreds of people in there. That's how many people were there. So that's a grade A mall, man. That is a grade A mall. That used to be a Bed Bath & Beyond. That mall, it has every fancy store. There wasn't one vacant store in that mall that I saw. I think we have some videos. And like I said, they had pickleball courts. It was like a fun. They had arcades in the middle. It was a great mall, man. And so for they had a perch up there. You can look out at all the customers. They can't see you up there watching them. That's Ben's office right there. And you know what's funny is like I go into these businesses and I redo the office and make sure I'm comfortable in the office. They didn't do nothing in the office. They focused on the bin store, which was the smart move. He's like, Tom, I don't need a desk if I'm not making any money. And he was right, man. He was right. 22-year-old was teaching the OG what I should be doing there. That's what really happened here. That's what really happened here, man. I was so impressed with that store. And, you know, they're already looking to open another store. So, yeah.
That means it's working.
Matt, you're only 19? Let's do that one first. Tom, do you think a 19-year-old could pull off a bin store brand like with enough capital? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Matt. If you're really 19, listen, if you're are you willing to bust your ass and work 7 days a week and put the time and effort in? My answer is yeah. If you're going to sit in a corner and watch things happen, no. Me at 19, no. Daniel at 19, yeah. Daniel's disciplined. Daniel been saving money his whole life. He has the capital. He did it the right way. Not me. I was buying stupid shit at 19. I didn't save any money until I was 45 years old, man. Do it the right way, man. Don't get me wrong. I would work. I'd make money. I'd go to the nightclub, spend it all. Work. That's what I did my whole life until I stopped listening to stupid ass music and started listening to podcasts and fell in love with Bigger Pockets, which was a real estate podcast. Yeah. Then I fell in love with Gary V, which is all about marketing, and then I fell in love with crypto. And now I never have to worry about money again in my life. My money is set, guys. My money is set. But if I didn't start paying attention, listen, I went and visited I know he doesn't watch this because he don't watch any podcasts. My brother-in-law worked in tech his whole life, and his pay was north of $500,000 a year, $500,000 a year for his whole life. Now he did a buyout in his company, whatever he's doing, like consultant, whatever. This guy didn't know shit about shit. I'm trying to talk to him about crypto, about money, about that. He didn't know nothing. I was just appalled that these people in tech don't pay attention. There's so many people out there that don't pay attention. And if you're not going to pay attention, don't get in the business for anything, man. Anything. If you're not willing to put hundreds of hours of research into bin stores and the liquidation, watching every video, watching the people who do the eBay and watching and learning about how money works and learning about the future of money and learning about all this stuff, just go work for somebody else, man. And then you're guaranteed to get paid. This business is not easy, man. I mean, I say it's not easy, but I say you got to do it smart, man. Work your ass off, save your money, save half of everything you earn, and become rich, man. This business can make you rich, and it's an easy-ass business, man. Just follow the simple steps. You're going to do exactly what Daniel did, man. You're going to rise to the top fast, man. You're going to rise to the top fast. Daniel, selling 1 truckload every so often. Then he brings in 2 truckloads, then 3, then 4, then 5. Now he's doing a bin store. Now he's doing brokering. Now he's making money, right? He's got 3 streams of income, right? And this liquidation, and he's doing exporting 4 streams of income. There's so many streams of income you can make out of this business if you do it right. If you build, start from the baby step 1. Can we call it baby steps? Dave Ramsey might get on her ass, but baby step 1, open up a pallet store, 1 truckload a week, $10,000 a month in profit. All right. Step 2, bring in a couple more truckloads once you start saving money. Step 3, if you want to do a bin store, do a bin store. Step 4, go into brokering. Make sure you know whose load you're selling because you can get screwed in brokering. You can broker somebody's load, somebody get pissed off at you and sue you because you sold them crap. That can happen, man. Get ready for it. If you're going to broker, get ready for it. You better damn well know what you're selling. If you don't know what you're selling, don't sell the damn load. Don't sell the damn load. I got burnt selling from a guy that I thought I trusted, man, a mediums load. It came in to be processed mediums. I had to fight. My man Fritz brought this load. Fritz is in New Jersey. He's an online seller. I sold him a mediums load. I made a few $500 off the load. And then I got a deal with him being pissed off for a $10,000 load. I was going to give him the money back. I had to give him $10,000 back. Luckily, the contract holder that I bought it from admitted to what he sold, took the load back and refunded his money, and I gave Fritz his money back. But that is a place that I don't want to be in. I sold a load that I didn't put my eyes on, guys. Brokering's not easy. Make sure you look anytime you're kicking out a penny for anything. Make sure your eyes are put on that stuff. Yeah. Tom, what is the biggest advice you can give to first-time bin store owners? How to attract customers, best location, employees? Okay. I'll review that. How to attract customers, social media. TikTok is now becoming one of my favorite platforms, but that doesn't mean you don't do Instagram and Facebook. I do Facebook targeted ads, everybody within 10 miles of the store. Number 2, I fill the bins up as full as I can do. I put LPN and FC as full as I can. I make sure I have enough inventory to last 2-3 weeks. I always got to be ahead of the inventory. Number 3, I throw out all the leftovers at the end of the week. My pricing strategy is 12, 10, 7, 5, 3, 1, 50 cents. Why do I do 50 cents? Because I want to clean out the bins because I'm throwing everything out at the end. And the location doesn't matter a lot, but it would be helpful if you're in a better location. But better location means more rent. I would like to find a Halloween City location because you know that landlord would take a month-to-month tenant, and then you know that they're looking to give cheap rent. I believe Halloween City pays $15,000 a month in rent for most of those locations. And if you can get a 50,000, 60,000, 70,000 square foot facility for 15 grand a month, you are going to make a shit ton of money. Plus they do the work, right? They make sure there's 35,000 cars a day that drive up in front of that. They make sure there's 50,000 people within 10 miles of the location. They already did the work for the location. So just find a Halloween City. Is that what it's called? Halloween City? Am I saying that right?
Spirit Halloween.
Spirit Halloween. Why the hell did you correct me, Daniel?
I don't want to
Spirit
interrupt
Halloween. Spirit Halloween. Find a Spirit Halloween and go in that location. If the landlord's willing to take Spirit Halloween for 3 months, he's willing to take you for 12 months because you're paying the carrying costs of the location. You're paying the rent, the utilities. You're paying the landscaping. All that stuff comes out of the landlord pocket when nobody's in there. That's called carrying costs. All right. They have to pay those numbers when nobody's in there. So if you're in there covering the carrying costs only, which means you're paying a third less rent, now you could be kicked out after 6 months or a year. But how many locations have you seen vacant for 5, 6 years? How many Sears, JCPenney, how many of these big box stores have you seen vacant for 5, 6 years? Ton of them. That's where you want to be, man. That's where you want to be. Cover their carrying costs, $15,000 a year, and then go in there. If you negotiate the rent on the same place, you're paying $50,000 a year. Add that. That's $35,000 less a month. Add that to your bottom line, and tell me if you can make money on that location. Hell yeah! Figure out the location. Figure out the inventory. You know. That
was my girlfriend, by the way, that asked the question. That was my girlfriend.
Oh, which one was that? That was
the one that asked the question. That was my girlfriend. Which, by the way, I'm so happy because she's so supportive of me. Her name's Josie.
Josie. All right.
Yeah.
You got a great man there, Josie.
that one.
Yeah. Are you a little nervous about his first spin store?
Is she a violin player?
Oh, yeah. She's amazing. She actually has a concert today that I'm very excited for.
Oh, my goodness. That's awesome.
Does she have a sister?
A sister, she does, yeah.
I'm just joking. My wife might be watching. No, my wife doesn't watch my stuff. She's like, I don't got enough time to watch your stuff. I'm like, all right, babe. Sometimes I talk about you. All right, go ahead. Tell me about you.
I think it's very important to have someone that supports you, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's your girlfriend. Having someone, because sometimes it can get lonely, because there's times where I work 12-hour days. I think you have to normalize working 12 hours. And sometimes it can get pretty lonely, but whenever you have someone that's like constantly supporting you, constantly like helping you out with stuff like that, I think it's the most valuable thing in the world. And that person for me is Josie. She supports me a lot in everything I do and every project I want to start. And I'm very, very grateful to have such a good person in my life.
Daniel, I couldn't agree more, man. Toast to Josie. I couldn't agree more. I work out of town. I work an hour and a half from my house 5 days a week and then just go home on the weekends. Fortunately, I have a place to stay here. But my wife is like, honey, go make that damn money. Go make that money.
There you go.
I'm not going to say it was always that way, but we kind of worked it out where I'm like, you like the big house you live in? You like driving a Range Rover? You like all that stuff? Don't get me wrong. My wife works a job. My wife has always had a job, insurance, everything. She has been the rock behind me my whole life, right? When I fail in business, she's always had a job. When I succeed, she's always had a job. And so I owe everything. I started my business because she had a job. We even had kids, man, and I'm broke. I'm broke as shit, but she's got a job. She's the steady one. And, because of her, I was able to build what I built. So I could not agree with you more. You have to have if you have to have your significant other to be 100% supportive, because, you're going to go to a family event and you're about to walk out that door and some guy walks into your warehouse and says, hey, I'm interested in 6 pallets. And you're like, damn, my wife's, I got to get to this dinner we're having or my kid's award banquet or sporting event. but I can also make $1,000 in a few minutes here. You know, what should I do? And you got to take care of the customer, man. You got to take care of the customer, and your wife or significant other has to be supportive of that, because that's going to happen over and over and over again when you own your own business. You don't like that? Go find a freaking job, because then you get off at 5 o'clock and you can turn shit off in your head when you get home. That doesn't happen when you work for yourself, man. You are constantly, all night long, midnight, people texting me, people emailing me, people Facebook marketplacing me, 24/7. I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up the next morning. There'll be 50 messages on Marketplace because I advertise the shit out of my pallets, right? I advertise the shit out of them. So when somebody walks in and says, I've never heard of you. Why don't you advertise? I'm like, really, dude? Really?
Well, that's testament to how much we have to be advertising and how much marketing we got to put out there.
Yeah. We're constantly trying to find new buyers, more buyers. And so she knows when I'm on my phone, my wife's not like, who are you talking to? You know, she knows because I'm answering questions on Facebook. A bin store owner's texting me about how to get loads. You know, who knows what's going on? You know, she knows that I'm not texting some young Hispanic girl in Texas. Josie's sister. Just kidding. Who else should we buy from? It's Mike and Trisha. What's up, Mike and Trisha? We like being loyal to you and we trust you.
They just said, oh, hey, family doesn't work, but look at them, the two of them together. Yeah. They were being sarcastic.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah, you two are always here together, man. You guys are a fantastic couple and customer. You buy a lot of stuff from me. But yeah, you got to have a backup to me, right? You got to have a backup because, you know, right now I got no FC. I think I have 24 pallets coming in tomorrow, which is going to bail some people out. But I mean, you know, I also have a store that's waiting for 12, another store that's waiting for 6. I got my buddy and my partner in Georgia wants a whole truckload. Everybody wants truckloads. I'm just not getting enough. And I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to find more FC. I'm trying to find more. I don't bring an LPN right now because, you know, I think I got spoiled. I was getting LPN at a great rate, and now everybody is trying to charge more. You know, it's tough. It's tough. You know, I never want to send a customer to somebody else, but if I don't, you got to stay in business, right? So you got to have other people to buy from. So yeah, keep your eyes open, man. I mean, you know, I'm always searching. You know, I'm going to say this anyway. My favorite thing to do is to go on Facebook Marketplace, right? And my keywords are Amazon. I look at everything. My keywords are mystery box. My keywords are pallets. I search those 3 terms all the time. And what I look for is an underpriced pallet of Amazon merchandise. They're out there. You got to find them. I call them, I text them, and I ask them how I can get truckloads from them, right? That's how I find undervalued merchandise on the marketplace. And then I try to see if they can produce more. Can you get me more than it? Can you get me 5 loads a week? Can I make you a big buyer, right? I know they're making money on these loads. And if it's underpriced from the market, I'm trying to buy everything I can. I have a Walmart supplier right now that I'm working on doing that with. I have Amazon suppliers that I'm working on doing that with. And if I can add those additional streams of revenue to my business, those additional loads, it's just going to benefit me greatly. So that's one of my secrets to how I find loads. And I'll look in the whole north southeast. I'll look in Georgia. I'll look in Alabama because I'll pay the $2,000 shipping down here if it's the right price load, right? If it's the right price load. I have a bunch of suppliers I get because of doing that. So there is undervalued product out there. You just got to find it. You got to find it, but then you got to be a big buyer. You know, you can't just buy 1 or 2 pallets from them because then, you know, that's not going to solve their problem. You buy truckloads. How do I get truckloads of this stuff? What do you mean? You know, somebody's making $100, $200 a pallet, and it's still a good deal for you. And then you offer them a truckload to try to buy a truckload, 24 pallets. They're making $3 or $4 grand on that truckload. You don't care. It's the right price, right? They're making $3 or $4 grand. Hell yeah, they want to get you truckloads. And then you keep buying them and buying them. You know, I had one guy, I know he was making $5 grand a truckload off me, but I was buying the stuff cheap. He was making $5 grand. He was selling me 3 truckloads a week. This guy was making $15,000 a week off me buying truckloads off. You don't think I was his best friend? I was his best friend, but I was moving that product too. I was making money off it too. I didn't care. I didn't care how much he made. I didn't care because I was making good money too. That contract came to an end, and then I had to move on. So now I learned that you got to get as many of those people as you can, so that if one ends, you got more to pick up the slack. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Do you have any videos on brokering loads, or could you help me with that? New hustle. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've done a video direct only on brokering loads. I could do one, but it is tough. I'm telling you, it's tough. I would be careful, and unless you know a lot of people in this business, I would be careful. I mean, there's money. There's money to be made. There's some loads. Some loads I make $250 on. I don't make much money on some loads. Like when I sell a Lowe's load, I only make $250, and it's just for my time. But I want to be a big buyer for Lowe's, so I move a lot of Lowe's loads for them. I only make $250. Other loads you make $500, other loads you make $1,000, other loads you make $2,000. And other loads you can make a lot of money on. The single SKU items you can make a lot of money on, but it's tough because you have to back the load. And if somebody gets a crappy load, then you're on the hook for it, and you see it all the time. Are you guys part of Facebook? So Bin Store Co-op was the group that I started. Then there's Liquidation Truckloads, and then there's Liquidation Scammers. Get part of all those Facebook groups. You'll see the people on there complaining about somebody who brokered a load. I gave the broker $20,000, and it's been a month. I haven't got my load, and the broker gave the money to the seller. So the seller won't give the money back to the broker. The broker is liable for that $20,000, not the seller. So as the buyer sues the broker, right? That's you. That's you. You're trying to be a broker. Then you're going to have to go ahead and sue the seller because they did not perform. And plus you got to think about contractual obligations. Did they invoice you? An invoice is a contract. Remember, a contract has to be in writing. If it's worth more than $1,000, if it's more than 1 year in term, or if it's for real estate. In our case, it's $1,000. So if you have to have that contract in writing, if somebody says, yeah, send me $20,000, I'll ship you a load, and you don't have the invoice, you're fucked. Excuse my language. You're screwed. Yeah. Make sure you get an invoice, because the invoice is the contract that they have performance that they need to do. Get it in writing and get an invoice. That's a contract. So remember that. It's tough. Brokering's not easy. Believe me, it's the hardest part of what I do. Now, loads that I know about, like Lowe's, I know what they're going to get in a Lowe's load. I know what you're going to get if you buy an FC. I know what you're going to get an LPN from Liquidation.com or from B Stock. I don't buy much from B Stock, but I know what you're going to get in those loads. Those are easy loads to broker, but these random fringe loads, I would stay away from. It's not worth it. Are you willing to lose 20 grand? Do you have the money to lose 20 grand on a load if somebody else doesn't perform what they need to do? You got to answer that question. So
just be careful in general.
Yeah.
I think we should wrap it up here.
Wow, did we go for 2.5 hours?
Almost.
About
20 minutes, man. It's because I'm with my man Daniel. Listen. Daniel goes he goes to all the meetups. He goes to Vegas. He goes to wholesales. Guys, if anybody, Daniel, how do they reach out to you if they want some more information on you? How would they get a hold of you?
If you guys want to reach out to me, you can text me or call me at my phone number 956-360-4086. If I don't answer, just text me. And if I don't answer your text, just text me again, because I do get a lot. Or you can go through my website that Esteban built, which, by the way, I'm so grateful for Esteban. He's been a tremendous help to me in my business. He's an amazing world-class marketer. Shout out to Esteban. But yeah, if you want to go to my website, you have a phone number there, you have an email, you can reach out to me. Thank you.
Your website better not be better than mine. If it is, you and I are going to talk, Esteban. Yeah. All right. And I'm Tom from Liquidation Motivation. You can go to liquidationmotivation.com and get all of our links, all of our everything you need on liquidationmotivation.com. Sign up for our YouTube channel. Guys, thanks for watching today. I appreciate you, Daniel. 100% successful wishes. I can't wait to see your bin store. When you open your bin store, we're coming out there and doing a video on it, man. I'm flying to Texas. Oh, hey, my wife bought me tickets to the Dallas Cowboys Washington Redskins game. How far do you live from Dallas?
That's about 4 hours away, 4 to 5 hours. Yeah.
All right. I will be spending the weekend in Dallas, so maybe I'll take a drive out to your location and see what you got going on. How long till you open your bin store?
About 2 weeks. Hopefully about 2 weeks.
2 weeks
Latest by
at it,
3
boss.
weeks. Latest by 3 weeks.
All right. Let me know, buddy. Let me know. All right, guys. Thanks for watching today. Tom, Daniel, and Esteban signing off. Liquidation Motivation, guys. Now go out there and make some money.